to sell some cheap sunglasses. Spider box a thing and I'll follow her all night. In a funky style of Levi's and a sweater kind of tight. Now West Coast Drive, that was sweet as molasses. But me not me, I was a cheap sunglasses. I followed her all night in a fun style of Levi's and a brown tight. It all comes to you, yeah, they go into classes. I'll find some chains and cheap sunglasses. Oh, yeah.
All right, what is up? All my sunglass wearing decoders out there around the world, wherever you are. Welcome out to another episode of What's Your Question? This is number 30, and great to have you here on this Saturn Day night. And we're going to go right into Sunday, so it's just interesting how Saturn lines up with our sun. And there's a lot to be said about that. But a big shout out to Phil X and company for the intro song, Cheap Sunglasses, a remake from the great band ZZ Top from the 1979 album. I think it was 79 album, Dueglo, I think it's called, or something like that. It's hard to pronounce, but Cheap Sunglasses, and then Corey Hart in the background with Sunglasses at Night. And, you know, I should have done the prop again. I was thinking about it, but I'm like, But nonetheless, it's here because there's something about sunglasses and this reality. And of course, the very big takeaway for all of that is it's all about the sun. Or a large portion of that anyway. So welcome out, folks. Another episode. What's your question? It's all great stuff here. All you great decoders. Let me go into the chat box here and start looking at a lot of returning subscribers. Thank you for all your support. As I say, you could have been anywhere tonight, but you decided to come in and join in with all this. So hopefully we have some new names and faces, it looks like. We got the Devils. Big shout out to Nigel and Harry from the Devil's Playground. Nigel coming all the way from the great country of China. Christine from the state of Washington. A lot of you, I don't know where you're from, but Eddie Machete in the house. Rebecca, nice to have you. Documentary Network again. Craig, Johnny Boy, Jason Lewis, Silvana, Pamela Swan, Chris Topher, Paul Doobie, Betty Broford, all the way from New Zealand. Wow. So I'm just going through these here, ladies and gentlemen. The great decoder Ethan Rucker in the house. There's a deep thinker for you. Gaia Hypothesis, nice to have you. Scott Trent, Iceman, D348, Core G. Nice, everybody. Welcome out to this great Saturn night. As you know, my name is Logan. I'm your host. I am your tour guide, as Tiffany likes to call me. Big shout out to Tiffany. Of course, tour and guide both equal 19. Logan equals 19. So it's kind of very fitting when you use the numerology of all that. Tam, what's up? What's going on? Richard Donahue, John Steele from the great state of Rhode Island in the house. Jane L. Great. Can't remember where you're from. Melbourne in the house. Awesome. Let's see. Living a Journey in the house. UK in the house. Southern Michigan in the house. This is what I love about this technology is that it allows us to come together in this great world that we all live in. Yeah, big shout out. So a big shout out to got Nigel and Harry over to the Devil's Playground. Go check out their channel. They just did a truth bomb drop on Polaris and the North Pole, and that's going to be linked to an upcoming decoder I have on the Dome decoder and how the Vatican's enrolled in that. That's a very, very big aspect to look at. Go check out their content. A big shout out, of course, to Santos Bonacci and Danny and Sada and Anne-Marie and Ricardo and all the great instructors over there at the Syncretism Society right here in my backyard, Puerto Morelos, Mexico, just 15 minutes south of Cancun in Quintana Roo. So big shout out to those guys. And I have some news from the Academy that I wanted to share with all of you. I'm going to do that in a minute here. And a big shout out, of course, to my great friend Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. If you're a fan of cryptocurrency and you want to learn how the cycles of the sun and the moon run cryptocurrency, along with fiat currency in the stock market, because they run the stock market as well, go check out Jordan's YouTube channel, Waters Above Crypto. He's got a masterclass. I don't even know if he's even offering it anymore. Him and I are going to be doing another podcast very, very soon. We just talked the other day and it was like for 2 hours and we always laugh because like, I wish we would have gotten this on record, but sometimes things like that just don't get recorded. So yeah, it was a big shout out to Syncretism Society. Big shout out to David Weiss. And I was just on the podcast the other day. I was kind of the devil's advocate, if you will, and that was not done on purpose. I'm a very deep thinker. I always usually go against the grain. And it's not that I don't believe in flat earth. The very reason I want to make a disclaimer for all of you watching this. The main reason why I don't get involved, there are two main reasons why I don't get involved with flat earth. Number one, because it has a lot of negativity to it. It has a lot of division to it. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Now, that's not me excusing anything, and that's not trying to take the easy route out, but that's number one. Number two is I haven't, being a researcher and scientist and decoder, I have not taken the appropriate time to dive into the flat earth and kind of make the truth my own. I just was on the phone yesterday because I had this idea and I spoke directly to David Weiss and Danny was on the phone and I called him up for that specific. I'm like, why don't we just go to the western side of Mexico, Cabo San Lucas, get a telescope and zoom in at the sun and just watch it as it goes through the sunset motion, and put your telescope all the way to New Zealand, because there is no land in between Cabo San Lucas, the Atlantic Ocean, and New Zealand. It's completely just water. So it's flat completely. There's no mountains in between. But of course, David said, well, you have the sun's just going to disappear because of the layers of water that you observe through in the atmosphere. I don't even know how that works, but it was a big bummer for me. And I was just like, this is the reason why I don't even get into it. Because again, what I was talking about on the Syncretism Society, what I'm mainly interested in is, let's just assume that the plane is flat. Let's just say that's a fact. What I'm interested, okay, so we get that out of the way. That's old news. That's old news. Who cares? Let's stop beating the dead horse. The new news that I want to dig up is why that has been suppressed. Why? What's the big secret? And there's going to come a lot of theories, a lot of opinions, and that's just what it is. They're just opinions and theories, and there will be nobody thus far, there has not been anybody thus far that has been able to come forth and prove why they have hidden or buried it. There will just be like Admiral Byrd, and I don't even know. I wasn't there in the 1930s, and it was just a story, and we don't even know if it really happened. Now, of course, there are pictures, right? But are they real? Are they fabricated? I mean, you can just completely start getting into a lot of conspiracy stuff, and but nonetheless, I want to know why. That's what I'm after. Forget, like I said, flat Earth, just shelf it. If a lot of you over at the Syncretism Society, if you're on board with that as your truth, okay, then why would you not want to figure out why it's been suppressed? That to me is more important than anything else. And I had brought that up during the discussion with David and Santos. Not that I'm trying to be, and then the comments start coming in, people like, oh, if Logan thinks NASA's telling the truth. It's like, people, when people make comments like that, I just see so much ignorance. It's just crazy. So I'm just going to make a disclaimer straight up, right all beyond, being as authentic as I can to all of you right now. These are my beliefs and my truths. And I believe that yes, NASA gives you falsehoods, but not 100% of what they put out is false. That's absurd to think that. That's not logical and critical thinking. Thinking that everything they put out is falsehoods. I just don't think that's the case. Everything everything in this self-contained system has falsehoods to it when it comes to 1 + 1 = 2. That's why I don't say like there is no we can't be using absolute truths here. They're your truths. And if you know psychology, go study self-fulfilling prophecies and how those work. And then have a conversation about what you think your truth is. So that's my take on it. And that's where I stand. And David was so generous to give me this big fat book, and it's now my beach reader. And I'm going to dive into it, and I got my highlighter, and bam, I'm just going to start diving into this. But, tonight what I'm going to be showing you, as I often do, is I'm going to be giving all of you a sneak peek of my upcoming decode on the sun. It's, Superstar Part 3. I may rename it because I've noticed the numbers have dropped off, and I don't know why, but this information that I'm going to be coming out with, to me anyway, supersedes any of the other information I've come out with. Because that sun and moon and these things rule over us. To me, those are more interesting than, like I said, the flat earth. That's old news. Like, if you believe in that, okay, great. Now what's the next step? Some of you are new to that and you're all excited about it. That's what happens when we get excited. It's like buying a brand new car off the lot. You want to drive it around. You want to show it off to people. But in 6 months to a year, it's not going to have that kind of pride of ownership anymore. So for me, it's just like, okay, let's just assume that it's flat, and then now why has that been suppressed? That's the truth I'm after, being the deep thinker that I am. And if I decide to go into that topic, you bar none, you can better believe your bottom dollar that I will be going into some deep aspects, because that's just surface stuff to me anyway. Not belittling it or poo-pooing on it, or like it's big to a lot of people, but if you adopt that as your truth, well then it's like, okay, well then why has that been suppressed? That's even more important. And then you don't need to go out there and try to prove anybody wrong and call anybody names for. Just remember, folks, because I see a lot of this. I see a lot of people, oh, it's the sheeples, or they're asleep. Just remember, you were one of those people before. Own your own shit before you start pointing the finger. And even when you own your shit, you shouldn't be pointing the finger at other people. Just let people do what they got to do. You were once asleep at one point in your life too. Just remember that. Just put yourself in check. It's insane. I go on to the comments on the Syncretism Society when I just did the podcast, and I cringe. And that's my ego. Because here are people that are just driven towards truth, and they're just completely acting like they're know-it-alls, and oh, well, they're full of shit. Or it's just like, man, why are you even here? Just collect your knowledge and go about your day. In the end, as I keep saying, I will continue to say it, your truth is the only truth that matters. And that's it. That is it. But as it stands right now, you know, that's like if you want to learn about the flat earth topic, go to David Weiss's channel and his app, and Santos is a great teacher. They'll teach you all that stuff. I'm not the authority on that. And for some reason, I just haven't had any interest in it. So I ask myself, why? Why am I not interested in that? I don't know. But what I'm going to be showing some of you, I'm going to show you, as I've been showing over and over, our world is scripted. It's predestined. So that means that if you have adopted that as your belief, but I'm not saying it's your truth, this is my truth. But if everything's predestined and the script's already been written before we got here, then the whole topic of the flat earth had to be in the script. If there's suppression of the truth, that has to be in the script. So that's what I'm saying. It's really irrelevant. Yeah, Nigel, the globe hides more land. That's how I logically deep think. That's how I am a deep thinker, and I logically think, just like Nigel just said. That's immediately, because when I had talked about this on the first time I did with David Weiss and Santos, that's what and I talked to Danny about this over at Syncretism. I said, if they have made this place that we're living on, if they've zoomed in and just kind of cut out a lot of the other stuff, well, then that would make more sense as to why they're hiding. But you see, I don't need to be a flat earther to be awake. I don't need to be a flat earther to realize that there has to be some kind of creator. I already knew that 10 decades ago. I don't need flat earth to be awake, folks. It's just more arsenal, if you want to call it that. But I think that's exactly what the situation is. I think that the logical explanation for putting us on a round globe model is because, there's more land that we're just not aware of. And when you're not aware of something, well, obviously you can put two and two together. But we know what's really fascinating is the moon's round. Looks round to me. It ain't flat. I can see the shadows. You can see the perception of it. I don't know, but what do you guys think? I've seen zoomed in shots. It ain't flat. Unless there's an illusion that's playing tricks on my eyes, which could be the case. So then I would have to blame it on that. But again, I'm doing my thing, as you laid it, I'm the tour guide. I'm showing people the machinations of how this reality works. That's my claim to fame. Like I said, you want to learn about Flat Earth, go to the people that are doing that. Like Bro Sanchez, he's a deep thinker. Go to his channel and go listen to what he's got to say. I'm more interested in the pyramids and the sun and the moon and the zodiac signs and the elements of the periodic table and how we really work in this reality. That's more important than anything to me. And then you got what you think is the most important. And if I just let you do you and you let me do me, well, then there's no division. But that's not the way this reality works. This reality's been set up. It's been scripted to devise people. And everybody's trying to be right. And in the meantime, they're trying to prove others wrong just so they can be right because they're afraid of being wrong. And anything that goes against what they feel is right, they're going to slam it because that's your ego and identity. Your ego and identity does not want to be wrong because it makes you look bad. No one wants to look bad. Everybody wants to be looking good in this reality. Go check out Landmark Worldwide. Go check out go to one of their courses. They'll give you the skinny on it. And again, I'm just going to conclude on the Flat Earth thing. I think there's more to the story of just we live on a pizza pie. I think it's much deeper than that. I don't even like using the words again because it's like once you say it, instantly there's this division with it. That's just my take on it. Yeah, some people think that it's a psyop, think it, whatever. How, you can't get angry at somebody for believing that. But that's what people do. And we all do it, and I'm not immune to it. I've literally had to shut off myself and remove myself from even going on and looking at some of the comments on the last podcast I did. Because my old self, I'd be pulling my Mars card out and I would be hammering people. So challenging for me. Yeah, and you get how about the concave Earth? What about that one? Some people believe in that. That's what they want to believe. Okay, go. So go do a concave Earth. Don't care. It's not my journey. I don't wake up with you every day. I don't have to live in your body, in your mind. I don't have to live through your effects from your causes. I'm just going to do me. That's all that matters. Is me. And all that matters is you. We have to get this right first. Stop using absolutes. Everything inside this self-contained system is true for somebody. Think about that for a minute. Everything inside this system that we live in is true for somebody. Even if you think it's not truth, it's true for somebody else. And how dare we to judge those people? Even if you don't think that they're right, you shouldn't be sitting there saying, oh no, that's not the truth. Well, to you, it's not. So for me, it's like, yeah, I don't need to go defend my research. I'm all about scoring points now. Offense. That's what wins a game. And if I try to defend, then guess who gets my energy? The people that are trying to come at me and encroach upon my stuff. And it's very challenging. And I'm not immune to it. Challenged all the time with this stuff. All right. So I wanted just to give, before I jump into some more of your questions, I also wanted to let all of you know that the Syncretism Society doing big things. And I can tell all of you that I have if you watch the Hydrogen Man, Greg, on their podcast, it was like probably 3-4 weeks ago. He calls himself the Hydrogen Man. Santos and all that, they're all on the hydrogen now, drinking the hydrogen water. I have got myself a machine. It's on its way. It's from Japan, and I will be utilizing it on a daily. You breathe it in, you drink it, all that kind of stuff. And I will be giving my feedback when I'm able to go on there for a few weeks, and I'm going to get back to all of you. I will be updating my results on this machine. And if you're someone who's going to be interested in something like this, then you're going to be able to purchase that through Greg and company. Okay, so I'm going to mention that. And I don't get anything from this. I just want to help people. That's it. Because if I help you, I help myself. And I'm not doing it to help myself per se. I'm doing it because I'm an Aquarius, number one, in the Western, and I love helping people. I've been doing it all my life. It makes me feel good when I do that. I also wanted to let you know that the Syncretism Society has what they're calling relocation services. I don't have all the skinny on it. They have mentioned it in their podcast. And really what it is exactly what I just said. Relocation. So if you're somebody that wants to get the hell out of where you're at, because instinctively you think that it's the best thing to do, they can help you with that. Now, I'm not just talking about like giving you websites to go to. I'm talking about doing everything from A to Z to get you out of the country you're in and get you here to Mexico. Whatever that looks like. It's not free. I do not have a quote on costs. I'm not going to be spitting that out. And it's not because I'm trying to hide anything, because I just don't know. So if you're interested in relocating and getting out of where you're at, if you feel the urge to do that, forget about how much cost is involved. If you're just curious on the actual situation that you're in and you want to get the hell out of there, just send an email to the Syncretism Society. It's very simple, syncretismsociety@gmail.com. And when you send that email, please, in the heading of your email, put relocation services. Please don't forget to put that relocation services. So that way it gets shuffled to the correct person on the back end. And just like, hey, I heard Logan talk about it. Just mention my name. Hey, Logan said it on Decode Your Reality. I'm looking to get the hell out of my country. What's involved? And then someone will either call you back or they'll send you some information. All right, so I just wanted to make that announcement. My email address is decodeyourreality@gmail.com. That's my email address. I have said it so many times before. I'm not a huge fan of emails. It's not that I don't appreciate each and every one of you sent. I read all of them. But sometimes I don't reply. And a lot of people send these long emails and I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to send a book back to you. So don't get offended if I just type one sentence and send it back. Just know that. Just know that. Okay? Okay. How much does the machine cost? It's over $2,000, I can tell you that. So it's not cheap. It's not cheap. But I believe in it, so that's why I decided to jump in. And this is like me just jumping in. This you want to talk about, like people say, have faith? This is me having faith. I've drank a few bottles of the hydrogen water, and it's too early to tell. But Santos swears by it. Danny swears by it. And this guy, Greg, who I'm going to be probably interviewing from my other YouTube channel, Cosmic Sugar. I'm still building content for that. That is all really more about self-help and like stuff like that, health and wellness. And I can announce as well, I have a friend of mine who we've become, like Chatterbox friends. Her name's Cheryl, and we're going to be. I'm just saying this is loosely now. We may be doing a podcast series. It's just going to be audio only on Vedic astrology. This is her strong point. She's very smart. She's been doing it a very long time, and I'm a huge fan of that system. So I'm building content for Cosmic Sugar. So I haven't released it yet because there's no content there, but I will be doing that because I don't want to litter this Decode Your Reality channel with health and wellness and stuff like that. I want more of the self-help stuff on my Cosmic Sugar, which is my website, cosmicsugar.org, organization. Okay? All right, so let's get into some of your questions. Mary Stevens, thank you so much for your support. What would be a beginner's reference to know what specific numbers mean? If you go to Google and you type in whatever number you're looking for and affinity numerology. So like if you like the number 23, you would type in 23 affinity, AFFINITY, affinity numerology, and just hit enter, and it will be probably the first result that pops up. And then just go read about the number. It'll give you the breakdown of the 2, the 3, and the number it gives its energy to, the number 5, the single digit. That's where I would start with. Most of you that are fans of astrology, numerology, all the mystical art platforms, please remember that once you know the 12 houses of astrology, you know the 12 numbers of numerology because they go hand in hand. First house in astrology, it's your personality, tied to your rising sign. Your root chakra, the color red. Number 1 in numerology, leadership, fire, seed planter. It's pretty simple. Number 2, Taurus, the 2 horns, ruled by Venus. And it's all about duality, money, and possessions, creating more than just you, 2. And then that's what 2 means in numerology. Same thing. So once you get the 12 numbers of numerology down, you now have the knowledge of the 12 houses of astrology. It's really that simple. You don't try to confuse it. All right, I'm not going to be pulling cards just yet, okay? So hit me up maybe in about 30 minutes on that. I'm not, because if I start pulling cards, that's all I'm going to do this entire transmission is pull cards. Everybody's going to want a card, so Scott Trent, just hang tight, brother. Just stick with me. I'll pull cards a little bit later on. Thoughts on the South Pole being a manifestation of the North Pole? Yeah, Santos, I haven't seen the video. According to what he's saying, is the South Pole is a reflection or a mirror of that. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. But again, I'm strictly going off of ignorance here because I haven't studied the topic. The conscious controver, even though you might be a potential flat earther. Let me just be clear, folks. I don't care. I'm not going to jump into that topic until I have dived into it deeply enough to give you my feed. That's how I roll as being a scientist, a researcher. If I don't have enough information on something, I stay away from it because I'm ignorant in that area. You don't need to be a flat earther to be awake. Sorry, you don't. That's my opinion. I've been awake. If I had to label myself, I've been awake for a very long time and I've never even tackled flat earth. So that's not a requirement to be awake. It's just something adding to your arsenal of your knowledge base. That's all it is. Well, like I said, I want to know why that has been suppressed. If that is the truth, the 1 + 1 = 2 truth. Why has that been suppressed? That's what I want to know. Rocker chick. Yeah, that's Santos, man. I don't roll with name calling and all that stuff. To me, that's just not the way that's not how I roll. But I'm not the keeper of other people. And I will just remember, folks, don't diss somebody's information because you don't like the way they behave or you don't like the way they act or how they, like, I wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't do that, but I don't dismiss the information. I value what that guy puts out. I am probably one of the reasons why I became a decoder is because of that dude. Like, I'm a Scorpio rising in the Western. I'm all about being a private detective and researcher and like finding out exactly how things work. And then Santos plopped in my lap, 11, 12, something like that. And I was like, that dude's on. That guy's got it. And I've been watching him ever since. I'm interested in what he gives for nuggets. That I'm like a DJ. Like, gimme this, gimme that. And then I make the truth my own. He's a beautiful man. Like him or not, what really kind of is just sickening, to be honest, is people, oh, you should do this, he should do, like, what do you know about his life? And then people they'll sit behind their screen and they'll just judge and poke. And it's like, man, you don't even know the guy. You're just basing it on what you see. It's like, go look in the mirror, man. If you think you got it all figured out and you're sitting there judging and blaming other people, you ain't got it all figured out. Look at the good in people. And you'll stop seeing the bad. And if you continue to see the bad, well, maybe you just need to eliminate that from your life. It's pretty much that simple. Yeah, Santos is a legend. And you know what's a great thing about him is he doesn't want to be that. He even tells you, I'm not even a guru, I'm just me. That's the beautiful part about him. He's the nicest guy, man, but people wow. That's why this world is just, in a way, it's sad because people are just want to be right. And they don't like themselves, so they just try to pinpoint it on somebody else. And that's why our world's, very highly egotistical. I know, you got to realize, folks, that if I took all of my truths, mine now, I'm going to use myself as if I took out all my truths and laid them out all in front of the table, and then we did a fact check on the 1 + 1 = 2 kind of situation, I promise you, I will have some things in there that are not true. That are falsehoods. I already know it. And that goes for every single person out there watching this. Nobody has it all figured out. Stop using your absolutes. That's why, I personally, in front of my videos, and the majority of them, I've missed it on a few of them, I say, these are my opinions and truths. They're mine. You don't have to believe in them. However, if you're going to come post your comments, they're all welcome. But have some kind of backbone or support. Don't just regurgitate your opinion that you heard or read from a book and said, oh, that sounds pretty good. So you're wrong, and here's why you're wrong. That doesn't work either. Even, I can even mention Zach, like I don't hang out with him. Don't talk to him. He's doing him, I'm doing me, but I get a lot of chatter in my videos. I just put out Murder by Numbers, and he's got a book on Murder by Numbers. I didn't decode that based upon him. I did it because I had a lot of requests from people asking me to do it. And then something inside of me instinctively told me to do it. And within 24 hours, I had that video done. That's how much it sucked me in. I could have put more out on there. And it's one of my lowest watch videos. Yet I thought it was important. But I'm at a point now, people are like, oh, you know, he thinks he's right. Like, yeah, we all think we're right. That's what's right. Everybody thinks they're right. So Zach thinks that people are consciously doing it and they're controlling the world. I don't. I think it's all being run by the puppet master, however that looks. And that's it. That's it. Some people want to follow him. Go follow him. That's totally fine. I'm at a point now where it's like, it's not worth my time. And I would even, and Zach, I'm sure would even agree with this. It's not worth his time trying to defend his work over mine. Just do him and I do me, and that's it. It's pretty much that simple now, folks. Because when you start to defend your work, or when you have to sit there and just, you know, defend, and all these people coming on that show, ignorance, you're giving that energy away. My energy is valuable. I don't know about you guys and gals. My own personal energy is super, super valuable. And that goes for every decoder out there. Everybody. Like I just mentioned Zach, right? Like I have a whole different, I'm getting into this mode now where I just like, he's doing him. Great. I mean, we're both decoders. I mean, it was Henry Ford trying to go beat up the guy from Chevrolet because it wasn't a Ford. Just you do you, I do me, and that's it. And then we're enlightening people, however that looks. So and really, if you're here, it's because you're interested in what I gotta say. And that's it. There is no other. I'm not trying to win a race. I'm not trying to get ribbons, trophies. I'm not trying to get a pat on the back. I'm not looking for attention. I'm certainly not trying to be an energy vampire or an energy predator. I'm not here. I'm not giving you my information. My ass is not sitting in this chair because I'm trying to get energy from all of you. I'm here to help you guys and gals. That's why I do these shows almost every week, every other week. Because I know that's my code. I've broken down my code through astrology and numerology and the tarot and the cards of Illuminati. I know why I'm supposed to be here. It's not about me, and it's not about you. But it's like this division garbage has got to stop. Be more like a Libra energy. Balanced. Slightly alkaline. That's how this reality works. You have an ego and you have a spirit. You want to be slightly spirit. You can't get rid of the ego. You want to be slightly spirit. The law of one material, if you're a fan of that, how do you graduate? 51% service to others. 51%. Slightly alkaline. What is your blood at on the pH scale? Slightly alkaline. That's all you got to look to is nature in your body. Slightly alkaline, slightly spirit. Emerald's asking, how do they know everything in advance? I don't know if you're asking me this. Sometimes people are putting questions in and they're talking to somebody else. Excuse me. Remote viewing is actually, from all I've read on remote viewing, it's not looking into the future. It's tapping into the now and being at a different place at the same time. That's remote. That's what I get from remote viewing. Can you look into the future or the past? I don't know how to do it. I don't know anybody that can do it. Sure, there are people that are psychics. But as you can see, over 250 videos now on all different kind of topics. People, places, things, sacred geometry, pyramids. It's all dialed into the script. When you start to decode like sacred geometry and the torus fields and math and dielectricity and magnetism and how that stuff works, and you realize the numbers are the same numbers showing up in these movies and people, places, and things, how do you how are we to describe that? They're not running the polygonal shapes. And I say some people think that people are doing it. Well, they ain't running the polygonal shapes. Those were before we even got here. They're not running the numbers. Those are before we even got here. They're not running the Fibonacci sequence. That was before we even got here. We just tapped into it. Nature has that spiral that was here before we even got here. But yet you can use the same methodology that I've been using and showing, that I teach, and you can decode the golden spiral, the golden ratio, and you're going to see that that's not run by man, but yet the same outcomes are coming through with that expression. So when we use logic and common sense, which most people don't have, not you though, most people, they're going to separate it and be like, oh, no, that can't be, no. But it's the same outcome, folks. What do I think about channeling? Never tried it. I think that I think I'm being channeled all the time. I have proven it. I shouldn't say, I'm not going to use that word, supported it. I have supported that I'm being used countless times. Go watch I did the Matrix Decoded, the first one. I did the second part, the back end of that. I showed how my files and the sizes and the timestamps, I'm being used, folks. I'm totally okay with that. What I mean by being used is I'm living through my script. It's just that simple. Pamela saying, you're a remote viewer and you've looked into the future several times. Great. Send me an email. I'd love to hear about what you saw and what you can predict. That's what I'm interested in. So if you've been able to look into the future, that's awesome. What came true, and do you do it on a daily? I mean, if I could look into the future and start to see what's going to happen, I'd be doing it every day. For sure. I would anyway. I don't know. That's what I would do. So I'm totally interested. Send me an email. decodeyourreality@gmail. Pamela Swan. Send me an email. How do you do it? What's your methodology? Maybe we can teach that to people. No, I don't have lucid dreams. I've read a book on it. I'm thinking about, one of the things about me in my life, I've always been a very, very good sleeper. And I say good, I'm saying it's like 7, 8, 9 hours consistently, more times than not. And I have dreams. I just don't really remember them. But when it's time to go to bed, I can't wait. It's like, you buy that ticket to go on vacation. You can't wait. It's almost every night. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go to bed. And for me, it's like, if I really, really want to have, if I really want to go deep, I just pop 1 milligram of melatonin. I don't do it all the time because then the body builds up a tolerance to it. I do it occasionally. But I love sleep. But I haven't been able to tap into lucid dreaming. But I haven't given it a fair chance. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know if there's a default methodology on how to do it. I know that there are people that have written books. I have read a book on lucid dreaming. Think about the word though, lucid, Lucifer, lucid, Lucy. Ben Martin, so you basically believe, no, I don't basically, I know that I live in predestination. And it's the reason why I know that is because I have supported it in hundreds of videos. Decoding other people, places, and things, showing that their lives are predestined. Please go watch my decode on Bruce Lee if you're a fan of martial arts. Guy was completely being used. It's not a bad thing. When we think of that, people say, oh, what do you mean I'm being used? Yeah, how does that work? Well, I've shown before, and even Squid Game, if you're a fan of that show, they're telling you, the old man on Squid Game even came out and said, there's more fun in playing than watching. So go watch. I just watched 1973's Westworld. It's about coming down and playing out a character. So logic and common sense, when you have these, and at the HBO had the series, and I'm not saying it's absolute definitives, but I think it gives you breadcrumbs as to how this reality works. And I have I'm going to show you just here in a little bit my upcoming Superstar Part 3, The Sun Decoded. I'm going to show you like 10 slides. I'm going to show you how ridiculously tapped in this code is from all different all different layers. And I just don't think mankind could ever code stuff like this. I could decode the stupidest things that have nothing to do with about trying to suppress you and whatever, and you coming up with the same exact expressions. You're finding the same results in these things. Judo Jack, do I really think reality is continually being updated? Yeah, of course. Because all that matters is the now moment. It's just now. That's why when you get into personal development and you get into, baptisms of the soul and dark night of the soul and stuff, you go to ayahuasca and you do these ceremony, whatever. The whole point of that is, to me anyway, is to eliminate your past garbage. Everything that's happened in your past is irrelevant right now. I know that's a contradiction, because if you just erased your 10-year history with your company that you work for and you had to start over from scratch, it would be relevant. I'm talking about the things that hold you back in life. A lot of people live through their past and it completely sucks them dry. And we're all guilty of it. Roger's asking, do you believe in the Mandela effect? That's not only do I believe in it, I've supported it. Of course. I don't even know how else to describe it. Thing is, what I want to know is why the hell is it going on? And then you know what you're going to get? You're going to get theories. There's nothing 1 + 1 = 2. Like the 1 + 1 = 2 is there is a Mandela effect going on. But now that we've established that, forget that. That's old news. Why the hell is it happening? That's what I'm interested in. I'm always chasing the why. Yeah, I mean, folks, if you're interested in the Westworld, go watch the 1973 original movie of Westworld. The movie, it was a movie written by an author. And that guy, as I showed that in one of my decodes, that dude has the same birth card as Ryan Reynolds, who was in Free Guy. I'll say that again. The guy who wrote Westworld, the 1973 movie, before HBO ever came out with it. I can't remember the name of the author. The guy who wrote Westworld, the screenplay writer, has the same birth card as Ryan Reynolds, who starred in Free Guy, which tells you that you're living inside of a simulation. Same birth card. Right here. Now, I know some of you will be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's just coincidence. Folks, there is no coincidence. This is the birth card for Ryan Reynolds, the guy who starred in Free Guy. And this is the same birth card of the guy who wrote the screenplay of the movie Westworld. Think about what I'm showing you. I have way more. I have countless examples of what I'm showing you. How else are we to logically put all this together? When I keep seeing it over and over, these patterns. Alex, nice to have you, brother. What's my opinion on the artificial sun that China made? Yeah, I wasn't there, right? So there's a lot of people videoing this thing, whatever. I don't know. I didn't see anybody getting hot. It didn't look too far away. And what the hell would you be making something like that for? Like, again, the why. Let's just say that it is real. Why did you make it? Well, I have postulated the idea of the sun being on a timer and going out. I know that's a crazy thing to think about, like the sun going out. Well, when you start to study these prophecies, like the Hopi prophecy, it's a prophecy. The blue Kachina, the return, which is derived from the return of Ra in the Egyptian times. Ra's the sun. I had a caller, I can't remember her name. I keep mentioning her. I hope she calls in again. She had said on one of my podcasts, the moon was once the sun. That's pretty interesting to think about, that the moon was once the sun. And there are plenty of planets, whatever they are, that have moons, multiple moons. Are these the stars that once were around these planets? Whatever those things are. It gets really interesting. Folks, if you're kind of a person who thinks everything's fake and there's all these conspiracy, folks, come on. We can't continue to use these discernments. Like once you find something, oh, that's not real, that's fake, that's illusory, that's deception. And I mean, people are programmed now just to say that, just because it's such a widespread thing to do. Oh, that's not real. I mean, I am all about trying to figure out the why. I want to touch it, smell it, taste it, the whole 9 yards. Because they have the technology exists of holographic the holographic technology exists. Okay, it's being perfected where you won't be able to tell. Well, I showed it on, me and Nigel did the podcast, The Devil's Playground 3. Check it out. Put the China, their 2022 ball drop for the New Year's. They used that. It wasn't like, I mean, maybe in person it was definitely more real, but on camera you could tell it wasn't real, but it was close. But to have that big of a layer in our reality based on holographic technology, that's a pretty big wow. Jason Lewis, you commented about decoding your coordinates. Yeah, you just do your latitude, longitude. Latitude is coming down, longitude's going across. And it's going to give you an X. So you can put in any city in the world into a Google search. And you just type in your city, like Rio de Janeiro, latitude, and it'll pop right up. And you'll get those numbers. Like the Great Pyramid of Giza, latitude, 29 degrees north, 31 degrees east. And it'll have dot, and then you'll have these other numbers beyond that. And you can add it up both ways. Like the Great Pyramid of Giza is not only the number 60, because it's 29 plus 31, but then you're going to have the spillage. If you add up all the numbers, it's going to give you 61.1. So it's both 60 and 61. That's why if you're a decoder, you start to look at these numbers and you realize that numbers encroach. They bleed over. Many of you, if not all of you, you'll have your sun sign in astrology, but you will not just be that sun sign. You're going to be another one. And you may be like scratching your head like, what? Wait, this is news to me. Well, welcome to the world of the bleed over. You have your Western astrology, the tropical, and you have the Vedic astrology. Which one's accurate? Both. Which one came first? Well, the history books say Vedic came first, but I can't say that for certain. And it doesn't matter. Both have merit. So as I have said before, using myself as the example, I'm a Capricorn sun in the Vedic, but I'm a Aquarius sun in the tropical. Which one is it? It's both. I'm both. When I go read about both, I resonate with both of the descriptions. So they're both true for me. So I have two. Many of you, if not all of you, have two. Some of you won't, because you'll be in the dead center or towards the tail end when it doesn't encroach. But a lot of the planetary positions that you have, you're going to be in two different signs at one time. And that's how complicated it gets. Somebody asked a question. What about the 222? Yeah, I don't know. February 22nd. Who the hell knows? You know, these big numbers in numerology start showing up, and then you're like, okay, well, what the hell does it mean? I mean, it's the 3 diamonds card, which is the 29th card in the deck. 29 is the 10th prime number, and that's linked to the word yod, as in the Yod-Heh Vah-Heh. 29 is copper. Copper has an atomic weight of 63, and the Yod-Heh Vah-Heh in the English is 63 and 64 because it bleeds over. 29 is Yaldabaoth. So many ways you can look at this. So many ways you can skin a cat, as they say. What is the Mandela effect? I have no idea. I have some ideas that are my opinions, but I don't have I shouldn't say I have no idea. I don't have a definitive on it. I have ideas. Personally, I think the Mandela effect is this new energy coming in and it's conflicting with the old energy. And you're having all this disgruntled energy. And it's just making everything go haywire. You also have to take into consideration. I was talking about this on the Flat Earth with Syncretism Society and David Weiss. He doesn't agree, but perhaps you have this planet that's coming in to Earth. Imagine this is Earth and it's coming in towards Earth, and it's so big, the magnetic push is pushing against the Earth, and it's causing chaos, which is what is described in the ancient texts is going to happen. Chaos like never before. That's what's going on right now. What's causing that? It's got to be something. And that may be the reason why we have the Mandela effect. Is you have this crazy energy, this huge planet, and it could be the new sun coming in. I don't know. And as it gets closer and closer, let me just use this as Earth. As it gets closer and closer, it's pushing. It's pushing on this, and that's why to me, that's why the poles are moving, because you have this planetary body coming in and the Earth, and it's a magnet, and so when it goes against the Earth, it pushes, and the poles, and then they're going to snap. When they're going to come to a point when it's going to snap. It may snap. If this is what I'm telling you is real, which is the return of Ra and the Egyptian and the Hopi prophecy, the Blue Kachina. So we can't rule this out. No matter what your beliefs are, no matter what I believe, we cannot rule these theories out. That the sun may burn out. And maybe it's on a timer. It could burn out. And then in the ancient text in the Bible, it says that the devil will be put into the abyss. What if the devil's the sun? As I've been saying, where's the abyss? It drops down. And that's it, no more sun. Or it just burns out and becomes like a moon. Now we got 2 moons in the sky. That's not so far-fetched to believe. We're at unprecedented times right now that there are no rules and regulations. Nothing makes sense anymore. So anything goes at this point. And if you're a critical thinker, if you're a deep thinker like I am, if you're a researcher, then you should have all your options open and not be tied down to any of them. Even with my decoding reality, I could be completely way off on all this stuff. I could be completely wrong on everything I've been putting out. And I'm to that point where I just don't care. Cool. Because I've had this conversation with a lot of my entrepreneur friends. It's like, okay, imagine the internet got taken away from all of us. What would you do with it? I mean, if you're somebody I rely on the internet to earn my living and to do these transmissions. Imagine we just stopped. We couldn't do it anymore. What would Logan do with his life? What would you do? I have other things that I want to do in my life. Music, I love to cook. I go do any one of those things if I had to lose that. So I'm not set in stone. I'm not tied to this. It's like if this ended, I would just go create something else because I'm a creator. And the majority of you, if not all of you, are the same exact way. You're creators, but a lot of you don't know what you want to do. Maybe you're just in the habit of doing what you do. And maybe you're just too afraid to go do something else. Yeah, controversy. Remember, Pluto returns 245 years, every 245 years, and 2022 minus 1776 is 245 years. So the return of Pluto is here. Pluto is the great destroyer. And, it's got its say in a lot of things. I call Pluto the great gardener. If you had an overgrown garden and you needed someone to clean it up, you'd call Pluto in and he would just come and wipe everything out. John, what if the moon was a sun and that's what's coming to an end? Yeah, it's possible that it's possible the moon could fall. There's that movie Moonfall coming out and just next week. Next Friday, Moonfall comes out. I don't know what that means. Remember, folks, a lot of these movies in Hollywood, they're so dystopian, but nothing ever happens. I think all of us are so in critical thinking now. We're like, oh my God, that's really going to happen. Or, but you got to use logic and discernment with this stuff. If you believe the sun will go out in your timeline, that's why I don't believe that it will happen. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I don't care if it does or it doesn't. If it's going to go out, it's going to go out. I'm very neutral. I teach neutrality. I feel that's the way you're going to win this game, is to be in the very dead center, just be an observer of both sides of polarity. And just, obviously you're going to be slightly spirit, slightly love. But is it possible that we're creating our own fractals? And whatever you believe in, that's what's going to happen. Very possible. That is I've mentioned this many times. We may be creating our own fractals. So if you're somebody who believes in the Bible and you think that is exactly what's going to happen, that may indeed end up manifesting for you. We cannot eliminate that from critical thinking. So if you remove yourself from all those beliefs and you go to what they say in Nirvana, there's nothing holding you down to the ground. I'm just all about the script and the code. I've seen the code so much in my decodes that it's inescapable for me. So it's like, it's not a matter of do I believe in a certain story. I just know that it's predestined because of everything that I've been decoding. The longest home run hit, the farthest golf ball ever hit, the largest dog ever, Zeus ever born. I've decoded all this stuff. It's all in the script. Things that have nothing to do with trying to mock people. How do we explain that? Yep, the middle path is the way to go. The middle path. It's exactly that's what I teach. You're not going to get right path or left path over here. Middle. I mean, you're going to be slightly right because it's going to be slightly love, but there's a wide berth. It's the middle path. Chris asking, have I ever heard the song Player of Game? I haven't. If it's rap or hip hop, that's my least favorite music. I don't even listen to it. I honestly I can't tolerate it, so I don't listen to it. It drives me nuts. So I just don't. It's not my thing. So if Grimes is rap or hip hop, I can tell you I haven't. Although the contradiction is there are a few songs that I actually do like. It's just really weird. But there are exceptions to everything, I guess. Rebecca, are we nearing the end of Kali Yuga? It seems that way, but maybe not. We may have just started it. You know, I have this decode coming out on the sun. It will be some of the most important information I have ever put out. And I know I've been saying that as of late on a few of my other videos. But this decode, and it's going to be a shame because a lot of people that I watch the analytics and it's I'm a minority. That's okay. It's not for everybody. But the majority of people won't even make it through it. But I think that the sun is a pendulum. It moves in the sky like this. It moves in a boomerang fashion. So it comes up and then it goes down. However that looks. So if you're on your flat Earth model, the sun would just, as most of you know, would travel like this, but it's not going to travel in a round circle. It's going to travel in a diamond shape, loosely in the sky with diamonds. I'm going to be showing that through real photographs of the sun. I'm going to be showing that. But it goes up and then it comes down and it makes this boomerang shape. If you go look at the sign of Taurus in the zodiac, you have the circle with the bull horns. That's the sun. The sun makes that shape. The bull horns. Multiverse. I've always believed the sun and the moon are one and the same. I don't think that they're one and the same. I think they're separate. I don't know how I don't know how that would be proven or supported. That's a tough one. Because when you look at the astrology of that, when you look at full moons, you'll see on the chart that the sun is directly opposite of the moon. And then when you get the cycles of the moon, you can see the sun dance around the zodiac, and the placement of it puts that sun at a position to where it causes these eclipses and, waxing gibbous and waning gibbous and crescent moons and all that kind of stuff. And when people say that it's a reflection off the dome, well, that would mean that the moon would be on the outs. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't even say it would be. How would I even describe? I had that thought of before. I can't recall. But I had something to talk about that, and I can't recall how to do that right now. Of why the moon is not a reflection. Well, anyway, and if it's a reflection, that means the Earth's round because the moon's round. The moon is not flat. Not from what I see. I've seen plenty of people with a telescope zoom in on the moon, and it does not look flat. Nope. It looks like a round sphere, just like this. You can see the shadows on the back end of it. That's just the way I look at it. But again, these are my truths. So you may not have to, may not agree with that. Dan Winter's great. Hermetic Alchemist. If you believe people won't watch it all the way through, people won't. You just spellcasted your video. I don't agree with that because that is complete nonsense hogwash. Sorry. Just because I say something does not mean it's going to influence the entire video. That I've already thrown that out the window. I've already proven that to myself that that's totally not true. But if you believe that's true, well, so be it. There has to be, when you cast a spell, you need to put energy into it in order for it to get going and gain momentum. You can't just drop a seed and then you think it's going to grow and turn into an oak tree overnight. If you're going to really spell cast, you need a lot of energy behind that. And then you'll create momentum to actually have that manifest. But just saying it one time, and you would need way more than that. That's why marketing works. People throw their marketing out there over and over and over. Next thing you know, you have 5,000 people showing up versus 1,000 because you marketed it more. There's more energy on it. That's how magic really works. But again, Hermetic alchemists, if that's what you believe, totally fine. I don't buy into that. But what's my favorite type of pizza? I don't really have one. I prefer plain than anything else. Just cheese is kind of my go-to. Have I researched crater Earth theory? I have not. Conscious controversy. If someone is born as an Aries sun sign below the equator, like Australia, is he really a Libra? No, if you're an Aries, you're an Aries. Doesn't matter because the sun's gonna go. In astrology, you have the Earth plane, and so the sun obviously goes around that counterclockwise. So if you're born during the nighttime, when it's still dark out, your sun's going to be underneath that rising sign to descending line. Those of you that are born during the daytime hours, you're going to be born in the yang. You're going to be born in the top of the chart, houses 7 through 12. Those of you that are born during the nighttime hours, you're going to be born, your sun's going to show up in houses 1 through 6. It's pretty simple. When you look at the charts, the houses 1 through 6 are yin and they're black. Darkness. And there's your 6 days of creation and theology. And then once the sun goes over that horizon or appears to go over the horizon, you have your yang energy. God said, let there be light, and was light. Then you have the yang, the white. And the white and the black then form a union. Julian Hartwell, how much do you think we are co-creating? We're all co-creating it. Everybody's creating at this very moment with your thoughts. So essentially, we live in these are my beliefs. Essentially, we live inside of a self-contained system. It is in the really simplistic terms, it's a battery, and the battery needs a negative and positive to become charged. And the negative and positive from all of us is from our fear and love, the two emotions that rule over us. We have both. And those emotions are going to be tied to the spirit and the ego. And you're constantly creating with that. But since we live in a predestined script, the script was already written, you're just coming down here and playing out your part and you're giving off the energy. Kind of like the cells in your body. The cells in your body, the trillions of cells in your body, you don't got to tell them what to do, how to do it. They just do what they got to do. They're already pre-programmed to do what they got to do. There's no difference between the body and then this life. It's just another fractal. Have I decoded any Beatles songs like Sgt. Pepper Lonely Band? Yeah, I have the Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds coming out in my Sun Part 3 decoded. So it's right off that Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Band. Our album is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I've also decoded the album cover when they're walking across the crosswalk. I can't remember what that is, but in the background is a Volkswagen Beetle Bug, and the license plate ends up breaking down to the words Game Master. And the word game is 13 and the master is 19. 19 and 13. Game Master. And the game's going to link to the sun. Have I decoded E.T. the movie? A little bit, but not enough to come out with any kind of information. Order out of chaos is the plan. It is all about chaos and order in this reality. If you look at, you go to the alchemical expressions to get that truth, and you're going to find that the 27th element on the periodic table is cobalt. Cobalt is a primary driver to making batteries. Cobalt has the abbreviation C and O, chaos and order. Why I believe that is to be the case is because the word golden equals 27. The word currency equals 27. And cobalt is the 27th element. Just to show you, okay, so this is a perfect example of how I know this reality is completely scripted and predestined, and we're just living out the script. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Now, this is going to be my opinion, but I'm going to present this to you in a way to where I want you to use critical thinking here. Okay? This deck of cards right here, this is the medicine deck. There's 52 cards in this deck, and they use insects, animals, and reptiles, etc., to deliver the numbers. And I'm hoping all of you have done your totem pole. So it's just a once in a lifetime kind of thing you do. The 27th card in the medicine deck card is this one right here. The dragonfly. These cards came out in 1988 by a group of Native American Indians, Jamie Sams and a few others. I'm not sure if they were Native American. This is the 27th card in the deck. Now, the words currency equals 27 in Chaldean numerology. The word golden equals 27 in numerology. The word police equals 27, as I showed in my latest decode that I just came out with on the Murder by Numbers. So the great dragon was hurled down. What's the great dragon? Currency. The word Chaldean equals 27. And if you take all the letters of the alphabet, A through Z, and you put them in the Chaldean numerology cipher, you're going to get 103. And 103 is the 27th prime number. So the critical thinking I would encourage you to use at this point is, do you think that Jamie Sams and the other people that were involved in creating this deck in 1988, do you think they were sitting down with numerology and they were fiddling around with the words like golden and currency, and they were looking at the periodic table and they saw that it was cobalt, which has the abbreviation C and O, which currency is chaos and order, in my opinion? Do you think they were sitting down with this kind of stuff and being in tune with that and then deciding, well, the great dragon got hurled down and the dragon's going to be chaos and order, and it's going to be derived from the currency, which is 27. So we're going to put the 27 as the dragonfly. So these are the things, the critical thinking that I do, and I come to the conclusions, there's no way that these people are doing that. That's crazy thinking. So if you side with what I just said, that these people are not sitting down with the layers that I just described to create their card deck, how do they create it? From what they're downloading in their mind. And then the only logical explanation at that point is mankind is being used. That's how they're able to tap into this and put this as the 27th card. And yes, thank you. Cobalt is tied to the number 58, as is nickel, because they encroach, they bleed. 27 becomes the 28. 28 becomes the 29. So there's just no way that, in my opinion, for what I just showed, and that's just one example. I could show you, I could be here all night for hours and hours. I would drain you. You would have to log off before I log off, show you all the countless examples that I just showed you that have nothing to do with murdering people. It has nothing to do with suppressing people. It has nothing to do with people saying rituals and mockery and all stuff. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. Yet I'm able to show these patterns, and the only logical conclusion using critical thinking is that mankind is just delivering the blueprint that was already written before we got here. It's either that or they're channeling it and they're giving it in real time. But no matter which way you try to describe it, it's not of their own mind. I had this 4-minute and 4-second video that I put out. Please go watch it on my channel. It's called It Thinks. It's a discourse by Werner Erhard, the great thinker of the 1970s. It Thinks. In that 4-minute discourse, he says that it's you that's not thinking at all. You have the thoughts, but it thinks, and it's you who have the thoughts. Think about that with critical thinking. After everything I just showed you, this is just one small little example. And why I have come to the conclusion that we are living out a script that is predestined. It was already written before each and every one of us got here. That is why when you go and you start to study your astrology charts and your numerology and your cards of illumination, there's going to be a lot of truth to these descriptions of you. How is that possible? Because they're written into the script. That's how they're possible. Because like the cells in your body that are fixed, they're predestined. If you just use critical thinking, ladies and gentlemen, just use critical thinking for a minute. You see, if there were no bacteria or viruses, there would be no need for your white blood cells. There wouldn't be any need for them. The white blood cells in your body really wouldn't have a job unless there was some kind of enemy to come in the body. That's the whole job of the white blood cell. Eliminate the enemies. When you put things under a microscope and you study, please go subscribe to the fellas over at Journey to the Microcosm. Go watch some of their videos. Looking at single-celled organisms. Far simpler than our reality. And yet inside that layer of our reality, in the microcosm world, there's predator-prey. Same thing going on here. It's no different. It's just in a different format. Emerald. So if everything is scripted, how can we create? We're creating right now. See, I think we have a little bit. So I'm going to answer your question. If everything is scripted, how can we create? Well, even if you're scripted and you're living off a complete script and you have no free will, if you wake up and say, well, I'll show you, I'm going to go create a new business. How do you know it's not your voice in your head that runs you that's going to say, well, I'm going to prove that wrong? How can you disassociate that from saying, well, I'm not being used? I'll show you. There's no way for me to prove with absolute certainty that we are living through a script and everything's predestined. The only thing I can show up with are layers that I just showed you with this dragonfly card. Just one example of many. But I think we have some free will. But if you get knocked off course, if you go off course, something in your life's going to happen and you're going to get pushed right back on course again. That's just the only thing that I can logically come up with from doing critical thinking. And that's it. That's all I can go off of, folks. For all of you that are here right now and you're listening to what I have been saying with this critical thinking kind of notions, all I'm suggesting to all of you is the very best thing that each and every one of us can do is decode yourself. That's it. I think the free will that we have encourages us to do that. And when you do that, you become more free because then you can just let go. You're like, oh, that's why I do this. I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'll just use myself. I don't even talk about myself a lot. I don't care. It's like I'm not the highlight of this, but this is a perfect opportunity to tell you this. Okay? For those of you that have been with me from the very beginning or just observing me from a distance, come to my channel and you listen and you see how I'm very, a lot of people say I'm too loud. Oh, Logan, you're too loud. I can't handle it. And they want me to change for them. Well, you know why I am loud and direct, and you know why I'm very passionate about this? Because I got Mars in my second house, number one. Number two, I was just talking about this with Cheryl. I mentioned her earlier, who's the great Vedic astrologer, and we're going to probably be doing a series on it, it looks like. But she reminded me, she's like, when your solar returns here and you have Mars entering in the nakshatra called Mulu or Mula. And this position of Mars it's going to smash everything around it. And guess what's happening to my life? All this stuff's coming in, tempting me, taunting me. And if you're not conscious of that, you will just lash out and you may make bad decisions. You may end up doing something that you may regret. I also have Rahu, which is the north node. Rahu is the black hole, basically. Rahu is the black sun who doesn't care about any of the consequences that it leaves behind. All Rahu wants to do is experience life. It's the cause. And my Rahu is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the ninth sign. This is just to make perfect sense for all of you, and then I'm going to move on to some more questions, just so I can show you how fixed this reality is and how amazing astrology is and all that kind of stuff. So my Rahu, aka the North Node, in the Vedic astrology, is in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the ninth zodiac sign. Here's the ninth card in the tarot. The Hermit, which is owned by Jupiter. My Rahu wants to just go into everything occult and wisdom and all it wants is this. It doesn't care about anything else. Over anything else, it wants the freaking wisdom, and it will do whatever it takes to get it. That's why I have been sucked into this decoding world, and it's like I literally can't get out. But I feel at home here. And so I didn't know this years ago. Now I know why. That's why the value of astrology is so important. Both Vedic and Western. You got to look at both. But that's why I decode reality. That's why I'm very passionate about my truths. You know, because I'm looking for the wisdom, and then I have Mars right there, and Mars and Rahu together, it's the Hulk smashing everything. So I got to watch myself. And it's been very challenging because when people encroach or persecute, my immediate is to attack. The Mars energy comes out. Because Mars is all about defending. So what would this be able to do to help someone's life when you know that and someone comes at you? Do you just go smash them? Well, what kind of consequences are going to come with that? So if you can just step back and just be an observer instead of just hammering somebody, you may just eliminate from somebody becoming your enemy, which could cause you a lot of grief in your life. So that is the reason why I am who I am. And I'm not going to change for anybody who doesn't like the tone of my voice, doesn't like my style. It's like, man, do you go to a concert and tell somebody, hey, I don't like the way you play the guitar? Too bad. If you don't like the way I play, don't listen to my music. I'm not here to people please people, folks. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all right. I don't. And I can be authentic saying that to all of you. And neither do any of you. Neither does anybody over at the syncretism side. They don't have it all figured out. Danny and Santos, they don't have it figured out. Not all of it. And if they're going to be authentic, which I know they are, they will admit that. Like, I don't have it all figured out. See, being wrong is totally fine because it allows you to look at and become a better person. So that's my rant and my being really loud but that's how, now you know who kind of a piece of who I am and why I'm so passionate. Mars and it's in Sagittarius but my North Node's in the second house in Western. So then you bring Taurus in this and the bull. I'm being very bullish. So we can't leave out these layers, or I don't leave out these layers. And then the nakshatras where they're at, 19 and 20. You got to know what those mean. So I got a course coming out with all of this. I hope to get the course out in February. I didn't even open my calendar to do any readings. I have a few people that have inquired. I may squeeze them in, but I didn't fully open my calendar because I want to get this course out. A lot of people want to decode themselves. This upcoming course that I have, most people it'll fit in your budget. But if you just want it done for you, this is not going to be for you. If you're somebody who likes to do research on yourself, if you want to know what the hell makes you tick, I'm going to give you the shortcut. This is going to be unlike anything anybody has ever come out with, I think. I'm excited about it. And it's going to be very affordable to fit almost anybody's budget. But if you're not somebody who does research, like don't get the course if you're just like, well, okay, I'll do it one time. And like if you're somebody who's a procrastinator, or you may not want to get it because you may just end up wasting the money on it. But if you're serious about knowing what your purpose is here on life beyond what you already know, I'll take you there. Or I won't take you there. You're going to take yourself there. It's really that simple. So yes, Roger, a rocker chick. Yes, you'll be able to decode yourself. I put a video, how to decode yourself. It's got almost 40,000 views. My most watched video. It's an hour and 5 minutes long. I came out with that April of 2000 and has it been 2 years now? Yeah, I'd be going on 2 years in April, I think. Or maybe I put it out last year. No, I put it out in 2020. But it was at the beginning of this new the system called life coding that I have. It's going to really dial it in. And I tell you, it'll change your life. And then once you know how to decode yourself, then you can decode your partner. A lot of you have husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends and fiancés. Don't you want to know the skinny about those people? Of course you do. You see, when those people show up a certain way, and you see it, actually take that back. If your partner shows up a certain way and you don't know they're showing up a certain way, and you may know, I don't like the way you're doing that. Well, that's just them being them. But if you had the knowledge about that's the way they are, you would not get into as many arguments or debates about life because it's just them being them. It allows more accepting of other people, which you should have already right now if you're here on this channel. Love, as Jordan has mentioned, love is about allowing, not forcing your ideas upon anybody else. If somebody wants to believe something beyond what you believe in, just let them go be them. But it hasn't been released yet. So you'll have to just wait on that. So we have people North Node in Scorpio. Well, is that in the? I'm assuming you're saying that's in the Western, but your Rahu may not be in Scorpio in the Vedic, and then you have the Nakshatra you have to look at, and that's going to give another story about it. You got to figure out what house the eighth, where Scorpio is in the eighth house. If it's if your North Node is in Scorpio, that's fine. But what house is it in? So you have that layer to look at. You got to look at the degrees it's at. So there are so many layers beyond just saying, well, my sun's here, my moon's there. Thank you all for your comments. I appreciate all of you. Going through your comments. Do I think AI or a robot can have a soul or spirit? No. Not at this point. Is it possible? Maybe. Sarah's asking, what form of astrology do you prefer for decoding the self? I like both. I use both systems. When I do my readings for people, I primarily use the Western, because if I use both, I would never finish. It would double my time, and then it would just be not cost effective for either one of us. So I just primarily use the Western. But see, my methodology uses the cards of Illuminati. I bring the cards into your astrology chart. I don't know any other decoder that does what I do. So I have a very niche market. And the tarot, I bring the tarot in there, show you what the tarot is. You got this book right here, which I got from my friend Sharon. This right here has all the charts of the cards in it. This is advanced decoding of the cards. Every year, these charts right here, they all change every year. The cards move. And there's a system to this. So you go at the 8, every 36, 37, 38, they all have a ruler. The cards move into a different position as you were in before, except some of these, like number 45 is going to be a mirror match. Some of these are mirror matches. But this is, and my friend Sharon, she's the great card reader. A matter of fact, I'm give a big shout out to her. She's doing a course. I think she said she's coming out with it in April. I'm going to be promoting it. I don't get nothing from it. I just told her, I'm like, hey, you know what? You've given me this great book. And she was the main reason why I got involved in the cards, and my other friend, Gabby. And, I owe a lot of gratitude to a lot of people for getting me involved in a lot of this stuff. Because I wasn't the originator, but I want to give back a lot, and Sharon, her name's Sharon Jeffers. She's been reading the cards. She's coming out with her course again. And I'm going to be marketing and advertising it for her, just mentioning it. I'm not going to be doing whatever you call them, market the hell out of it and try to get people to buy. And it's not about that. But if you're interested in knowing how to read the cards through her system, my system's completely different from hers. She has a course coming out, and you can join the course. I'll be sure to let all of you know when that course is coming out. Sharon has a YouTube. Actually, she's got a... Let me see. Hers is... She has the daily cards, and I can't remember. I should know it. Let me see if this is it. No, she switched it. So I'll have to get back to you on that, folks. But if you go to Amazon, you can get her books called Cards of Destiny. That's one of them. She has another book coming out she's working on. But yeah, man, she's got a lot of knowledge in the cards. Scott, how long have I been decoding? I've been decoding since 2012, 2013. And probably for the past 2016, it sucked me in. And for the past 4 years now, it's full time. And when I say full time, I'm talking about besides working out and eating, for the past 4 years, besides eating, going to the bathroom, drinking, and going to the gym, and maybe sprinkling a little bit of days here and there to have some fun, my ass is in front of the computer. I'm talking 8-10 hours a day of decoding for years. That's why I'm able to get the memorization of it and synchronize all this stuff. Is being born on the 11th a powerful thing? There is no better number. Every number has a debilitation to it, and it also has an exhilaration to it. But each number, each card, everything in this reality, like this was the card of tonight. It's now shifted into another. Well, no, actually, it's still 11:30. It's still before midnight here. But this is the card of today. And this card has a positive and negative to it. So you just got to study the numbers and know what the number 11 means. Know what the number 10 means. As far as the tarot, I use the Rider-Waite deck. There are many card decks out there. And I'm just not a fan of them because then the pictures get different. And I try to I'm creating my foundation with the standard. So I think this Rider-Waite deck is the standard deck to me. No, Sharon is not the Vedic person. Sharon's from Fargo, North Dakota. Yes, the cards of illumination is what I call them. These have been around longer than the tarot. These originated everything. And there are 52 cards because there are 52 weeks of the year. Tam, the card for February 10th never changes. The only thing that will change is, let me just show all of you. So this right here is the chart for year number 59. So those of you that are 59, then you would find your card in here, and every year these cards move. So the card's always going to stay the same. It's just where does it move to? What position does it move to? And then you got to figure out what card was there before, what kind of energy. It's a whole system in itself. Iceman, do I do my own graphic? Yeah, everything is done by me. I do, I don't create a lot of the things originally. I grab artists and other renditions of things, but all my graphics, my videos and stuff like that, I make all that stuff myself. Some of the music that you hear is my own music as well. And I use Adobe Suite and Camtasia. Some people have asked me that. I use Adobe Suite and Camtasia to create all my stuff. UK in the house, Cornwall, Steve Smith, nice to have you. Ray Cha-Cha, why did Jesus say, let the dead bury the dead? No idea. See, the Bible is a book of allegories. Was Jesus a real dude? Maybe. No way to prove that. But I am absolutely certain there was no guy named Jonah who got swallowed by a big fish. That's just absurd. I'm also convinced that there was no man named Job. who got tortured. If you go study that whole story of Job, what a freaking nightmare story. If you just study the story, here's a guy who had everything. And then the story is that God allowed the devil to wipe out his family. I want you to use critical thinking now. Okay? Just forget about what you know. Use critical thinking here. Imagine you're Job. A lot of you have families. Imagine your family got wiped out and murdered. What would you do? How would you be feeling? You see, in the story of Job, in that story, it's a story. It's an allegory. There wasn't a man named Job. Because there's no devil that God let tempt a dude just to see if he'd remain faithful. Because first and foremost, that is absolutely not love at all. To allow a child of yours to have your family murdered just to see if that person's going to remain faithful. That is absurd thinking. Yet most people believe it's true. I was one of them. I mean, if you're a parent, I've posed this so many times. Those of you that are parents, a lot of you right here are parents. If you got a phone call from one of your children and they're on the phone crying and they said, "Help me, please help me, I'm in pain," or I'm trapped, or someone's trying to kill me, or what would you do? Well, if you're a good person, you would do anything and everything it takes to eliminate that suffering from your child. Immediately you would do it without even hesitation. And you're not even a perfect person. But yet, we have this story of a perfect, omniscient, omnipresent God who doesn't make mistakes and is completely perfect. And yet it allowed a guy to be completely covered in with boils all over his body and all his family and all his livestock murdered. How does that make any sense? Yep, but people they believe it. I just don't think people use critical thinking. Oh, that sounds good. And then they'll put the fear in you. Well, if you don't put your faith, it's like, I don't want to put my faith in something like that. I just don't. Do I believe in there's a creator? Yes, but I just can't put my faith in a story like that. And then again, folks, if you imagine your family gets murdered, imagine all your house gets eliminated and you get out into the streets. And that was allowed to happen to you to test your faith. Do you think you would actually be sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, praise the Lord"? Folks, if you're God, you wouldn't do that to your children. If you're a parent, you're not going to do that to your kids. And we're not even perfect people. Where's the critical thinking today in today's world? Yes, Leonis, not all parents. Yeah, there are exceptions. Some parents do kill their own children or they beat them, and it's sad. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, yes. What I'm saying is if you're a good parent, you would do whatever it takes to eliminate the suffering. And yes, Matthew, the suffering is allowed because none of this is real. 1,000%. We have a ringer. We have a winner. We have a winner, folks. Matthew Garvin. That's right. The reason why suffering is allowed here, because this reality is not real. To us, it's real, but to whatever's observing this reality, it's not real. It's a movie. It's just a movie. That's it. That's why there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to death. The Bible is a spell book. Every book is a spell book. Any book that's read is a spell book. A lot of books that are written by authors end up making it onto the movie screen, and then those movies, guess what they become? It's spells. when you watch it. Enough energy goes to these movies, and voila, what happens? They manifest. Happens all the time. So should we make our own Bible? I think everybody has their own Bible. It's called your beliefs. What about 666? Good or bad? It's both. 666, you're in it. You're in 666. It's the lower chakras. It's earth. I was doing the podcast with Santos and just the other day, and he mentioned the 7 layers of the atmosphere. I never decoded this. So he's like, yeah, there's 7 layers to the atmosphere. Magnetosphere, the ionosphere. So what did I do that night? I got home, I decoded it. What did I come up with? Using the Chaldean only, again, because it's the true source of numerology. The 7 layers of the atmosphere. I don't remember them all off the top of my head. Magnetosphere, ionosphere, chronosphere. All 7 equal the number 343. And then when you take that number, using my methodology, you put that into the string of the golden ratio or pi. Well, you put the 343 into the string of pi, and you're going to find that it's found at the 666 decimal digit. So think about using critical thinking, what I just said to you. The 7 named layers of our atmosphere that we breathe in and beyond that. Through numerology equals the number 343, and then you put that number into the string of pi, and it's found at the 666 decimal digit. So what does that tell us? It tells us that we live inside the 666. So is it bad? Yes. Is it good? Yes. It's both. Heaven and hell exist here. The black wolf and the white wolf, they sit inside of you. Your ego and your spirit. It's all duality down here. Good and bad, hot, cold, up, down, east, west, north, south, all that. It's inside the 666. How do I handle it being a movie? I've let go. I just have fun with it now. I literally purposely went out and I got this tattoo. Last year, before I left San Miguel, I was living in central Mexico. And before I left to come here, I went out and you want to talk about scripted and coded, folks? How my life is? Let me just give you a little short story on this. This will make you laugh. Maybe make you laugh. This is how scripted my life is. So I decided to get this tattoo right here because this is the sun. And I wanted to get the smiley face because there's nothing, angry about that. It's all smile. The reason why I got it was to remind myself every time I look at my hand is, Logan, life's a joke. Smile, laugh. It's just a big joke. And God or Lord or whatever you want to call it, it's a stand-up comedian. So I made an appointment to get this tattoo in San Miguel. I went to the tattoo parlor. It was close to where I was living. I walked in. And I couldn't get a tattoo that day. I had to make an appointment. So they booked me on the next available date for May 26th. And I remember that day. I remember it was the 26th. And let me show you, folks. This is how coded I am, how scripted I am. And I'm not trying to mock you. I'm not trying to persecute you. I'm not trying to suppress you. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get anything past you. May 26th was the day that they booked me into the calendar to get that tattoo right there. May 26th is this card right there. And of course, let me show you, just to show you how ridiculously coded my life is. And if you start to observe your life, you're going to start to come up with the same exact kind of situation. Let me find the card. Now, in the tarot, you have the major arcana and you have the minor arcana. Okay? So, in the cards of illumination, these are numbered. This is card 19. And even though it's the 6 of Wands, it's the 19th card. What's the 19th card in the tarot? So the day I get booked for this tattoo on my hand was a day of the sun. What do you think that is? I was born on a Sunday. And then to top it all off, the guy they assigned to me to get the tattoo, his name was Leo. Leonardo, but he went by Leo. And Leo is the 5th house of astrology, which is ruled by the sun. That's my life, folks. That's how ridiculously comical this reality is. I didn't plan that. I planned on getting the tattoo because I made the decision to go, but did I make the decision or did the decision get made for me? You be the judge. I don't know how else you describe what I'm showing you. I took a picture of the tattoo needle on the package. That was linked to the sun and golden and 27. It was just, I have it all recorded. It's ridiculous, my life. That's my life. And when you take these things that I just showed you, I'm not being used by any kind. I'm not being used by a secret society. There's nobody using a supercomputer to output anything in my life. There's no quantum computer being run by a bunch of reptilians trying to output my life. I'm not attached to anybody. I'm just me, living my life. I live by myself. I'm here in Mexico. It's just me, myself, and I. It's been that way for years. Yet everywhere I go, there's signs telling me I was supposed to be there. And so just these personal things that happened to me have proven to me that life is scripted and predestined. And there's not anybody trying to mock anybody. People are just doing their jobs. And you have Team Darth Vader, people that are trying to, kill people, and they're really people that do killings and mass murder and rituals, and they really do that kind of stuff. Then why do people do rituals? To get more energy. That's the agenda. More power. So that's my life, folks. And I can tell you that the people that you don't like that are on the world stage, the crazy loony bin that's going on, it's a cycle. It's not going to last forever. And just like all of the cycles, eventually it's going to end and there'll be a rebirth and there will be a new age that gets entered in, and the loony bin will simmer down. It will calm down. It has to. Just like every cycle goes through that. Dragonfly, I'm not reaching with any card crap, and please don't use those kind of things on this channel, man. That's just absurd saying something like that. It's ridiculous. Go watch a lot of my videos and then you tell me I'm reaching. Not reaching at all. Not when you know. I mean, some of this stuff that I'm showing here and presenting, this is like in the layer of mathematics. It's like trigonometry, and you're at a basic math level, and I got to dummy it down. It's very challenging to do that. And then you get these comments like that, reaching with card crap. Dude, you don't even know the cards. So if you think I'm stretching, you're entitled to your opinion there, but go watch about 100 of my videos and then you tell me if I'm stretching, and you know what's going to happen? You're not going to watch the 100 videos. So we're going to be at a stalemate. But again, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. That was just one example, a very predominant one in my life. I have so many more other examples that I can show you how my life is scripted. And I'm totally cool with it. Because it's always been that way. I mean, I have on my arm right here, this is all phoenixes. Phoenix on the back side of my arm. Fire, the phoenix rising from the fire. I got some of this tattoo I got when I was kind of, I guess you could say I was semi-awake. I wasn't like at the layer I was at now. Go all the way back to when I was a kid. My parents had a Pontiac Phoenix, a silver one of all colors. I was born on a Sunday. The Phoenix is the sun. That's why the president is known as the Phoenix. Because he's the sun. Yeah, I know the dragon's a troll. It's all good. See, that's just my Mars energy. I'm not perfect. I do have some haters. You know, I got people that they don't understand how my mind works. They don't use critical thinking, and they're entitled to their opinion, right? But then sometimes it rubs you the wrong way, and I'm not perfect, man. My Mars sometimes just wants to come out and smash, and I have to hold myself back sometimes. It's challenging. Do I have a favorite or most prevalent number in my life? I do not. I do have something I'll share with all of you that maybe you want to start doing. Typically, every night before I go to bed, I draw 3 cards, and I do it the same way I do it here with all of you. I do the middle of the deck, I do the bottom, and then the top. And those are the 3 cards that I place by my bedside, and I kind of monitor my dreams to see if these cards are going to provide anything in my dreams. So maybe that's something you guys want to do. It's kind of interesting. How do I feel about 53 and 216? 216 is the divine triangle. 216 is going to lead to the numbers 3, 4, 5, which is going to lead to Earth, Venus, and the sun, I think, but I'm still kind of in debate on that. The 216 is the divine triangle, which is on the top of the White House. 53 is the iodine. 53 is one of the jokers in the deck. There are 2 jokers in each deck of cards, and typically these days you'll have 2 of them. It's the 0 and the 53. I showed that on my Murder by Numbers, and the joker is kind of anything you want it to be, and it's the I am. Thank you all for your great comments. I'm telling you, man, this Mars return, folks, it's challenging, man. I was just joking around with my friend Cheryl, who's the great Vedic astrologer, and I was saying that it's like when you're aware of these transits and the positions of these planets, I swear to God, they're like, okay, I'm here, I'm showing up, and now I'm gonna draw in all the energies that are gonna make me alive and real. You know, like when a Mars shows up in one of your houses, like it's like, okay, I'm here, let's have some fun. And of course, Mars is the god of war, defense, you know, the bully, so to speak, in a lot of ways. And it's like when it shows up in a certain placement in your charts, it's going to draw on the energy to make known that it's in that house. Like, I'm here and you're going to know about it. And I swear these circumstances in my life, things are just starting to happen, and it's like, okay, there's Mars, you know, and then you just got to laugh. It's just kind of funny. AR is we were talking about this. You must be newer on this. What if any extent of free will do we have or operate under? I think we have free will. At one point, I didn't think we had any. Some people think we do not have any. I think we have some, but it's minimal. How much do I think? I don't know. But I think it's minimal. Yeah, Strong's Concordance is great. I actually got involved with Strong's Concordance because of John Petrie. Those of you that follow John Petrie's work, he kind of got me into a few things, mirroring numbers, Strong's Concordance. But I don't really that's another layer that people were like, what is this Strong's Concordance? And so it's like I don't bring a lot of that into it, because I think the Bible, the Strong's Concordance came from the Bible. So when you decode the Bible, I think you don't even need to bring in Strong's Concordance, but that is another layer that's pretty amazing. Yeah, the number 42, I broke that down, rocker chick. So just go to my channel and go to the little magnifying glass, the search, and type in 42 decoded, and you'll be able to watch that. I have enough free will to make some huge mistakes in my life. And what if the mistakes aren't mistakes? Maybe they're just events that happen in your life and we just call them mistakes. It's an adjective that we use, but they're just events that happen and they were supposed to happen. So there's not really a mistake that you made. It's just an event that happened. Just start using critical thinking, folks. We use these adjectives to describe something. And is that really how it is? Oh, tongue twister on there. What year did I wake up officially? 2008. Hades is coming. 2222. I think Pluto return is 2022. I would love to learn how to do remote viewing. I really would. It's just that for me, I'm somebody who has to actually take courses on it and dedicate a big portion of my life to it because I'm kind of a fanatic when it comes to things. Like I'm all in. I really go all in. What's my birthday? February 4th, 1973. February 6th, nice. What woke me up in 2008? Well, my life came crashing down. I literally lost everything. What got me started wasn't actually the mystical arts and all these platforms. It was The Secret, the movie The Secret. Rhonda Byrne's great movie. I found that in 2006, and I didn't start watching it right away because I was doing real estate and I wasn't interested in anything but making money at that time in my life. But in 2008, when everything kind of came crashing down, it came back into my life and I started watching it and I couldn't put it away. I literally watched it every day, all day for a month. That's how fanatic I got about it. People were tired of being around me because I was like, okay, Logan, enough with The Secret. Because I could start, saying things verbatim. And then that led me to Bob Proctor and Born Rich. And I went through a huge transformation of personal development. I've read over 100 books on law of attraction and the health and wellness. And just I went on this major transformation. Have I ever tried to decode words without using the vowels? I do it all the time. There's actually, that's part of numerology. The vowels, when you separate them from the consonants, it'll give you, it's kind of like the vowels are the spirit and then the consonants are the ego. So yeah, you can definitely decode it and there's a lot of merit to that. I just don't, again, it's just more layers that, I have enough already that people can't get, No, I don't think The Secret was just a money-making scheme. I think there was a lot of beautiful people in The Secret, Bob Proctor being one of them. He's helped out so many people change their lives, become better people, raise their frequency and consciousness. Just, you can be wealthy and still have a high consciousness. It's not a matter of just like being completely stuck all together and then not being able to kind of get out of the Maya, if you will, because that's what the, kind of the matrix is. It's Maya. But I think that Rhonda Byrne's, obviously, yeah, there's that agenda. Like, okay, I'm going to make some money off this. But if you're taking that cash and you're moving it towards being a bigger empire to make a big dent in this world and you work for kind of slightly alkaline, slightly love, slightly Team Yoda. I think that, that's what the world needs. The world needs to just be balanced, and it's not, right? If you get too far in the light, you'll disappear. You're going to disappear. So remember, if you just studied nature, if you can die from being too alkaline, which is being too of the light. So you want to be slightly light. You want to be illuminated, But you cannot get rid of your ego personality. That is you. You just need to humble it. You need to control it. The primal, when it wants to come out, you need to be able to control that and put it away. And you call the shots. And maybe that is what free will is all about. It's being able to really push that ego down and, like saying no to things. So like, not eating food for a week and fasting for 7 days. That's controlling the primal. Right? That's a good example of controlling the ego / primal. Okay, so I'm gonna start drawing cards here in a minute. Let me just jump into. I'm gonna get this over with because I'm gonna probably end the transmission on doing some card pulling for about 30 minutes. I'm not gonna go long tonight. I'm probably gonna go for I don't know, maybe another hour. But let me give you guys kind of the sneak peek before I start pulling cards with this Sun Superstar Decoded. And just to show you more of predestination and more of life being scripted. Okay? So let me start it on this here. Okay. So what you're seeing right here is a little bit about the sun and the definitions of it. And I have a couple things circled, and we start off in the bio, the definition of the sun. You'll see the word circled called plasma. So this is science now. And science will tell you that the sun is plasma. And when you do the etymology of plasma, it's from the ancient Greek. Go down to the second category, circled. It's from the ancient Greek word. I got it circled there. Plasma in Greek. So you want to decode that. Like you can decode plasma. But plasma in the Greek is the number 19. And then you just go to the right of that and you'll see the tarot card. And it's the sun. So, again, this is just using one numerology expression. So the Rider-Waite, the people that made the Rider-Waite deck, were they sitting down just exclusively with the Greek words to base their cards off of? I think not. It's just way more complex than that. But there it is in the tarot. Came long after the Greek alphabet. But it's a direct match. And then we have the medicine deck. As I showed earlier, the Dragonfly card. Well, here's the card deck that came out in 1988. So think about this using critical thinking. 1988, Jamie Sames and company created this deck called the medicine deck, medicine cards. And just like the tarot, it has symbolism in it, but it uses insects, animals, and reptiles. And the 19th card they decided to use is the buffalo. And maybe they were looking at the tarot cards. Excuse me, maybe they were looking at the tarot cards. And they were like, okay, what animal are we going to use to represent the sun? Well, if you go study this and the history of the buffalo, and then you go study the book on the medicine cards, one of the reasons why they chose the buffalo is because it's kind of the animal of the Native Americans. It's like the icon. So of course it correlates to the sun. So now we have the word plasma from thousands of years ago, perhaps from the Greek, being the number 19, and then the 19th card in the tarot is the sun, and the 19th card in the medicine deck coming out in 1988, which was a long time after all these other layers came out, being the number 19 card. And then we bring in the United States. And in 1913, they came out with the Buffalo Nickel. So again, using critical thinking, do you think they were sitting down with numerology back in 1913? Do you think they were sitting down with the tarot cards? And they're like, you know what? We got to create a nickel, and we're going to call it the Buffalo. We got to create a 5-cent piece, and we're going to call it the nickel. And we're going to call it that because nickel equals 19 in Chaldean, and that's the sun. Or do you think that just mankind is being used as I have proposed? And is the sun nickel? Is it the number 5? Well, let's find out. So this was kind of just for fun, right? As you notice, right below the buffalo card, I decided to decode buffalo. And it's kind of why I had the cheap sunglasses song in the beginning of this, and Corey Hart sunglasses at night. And you know why sunglasses are such a big deal. Buffalo is 35, sunglasses is 35. So again, you know, where do we draw the line? Because I don't think that Jamie Sames and company that created the medicine card deck knew that buffalo equaled 35, and they knew that sunglasses equaled 35. I don't think they were sitting down with a pair of sunglasses out during the bright of day and they say, you know what, sunglasses is 35 in Chaldean and buffalo's 35. So we're going to call it the buffalo card to match the sun. And we have sunglasses. We wear glasses. They're called sunglasses. Do you see what I'm saying? Like if you use critical thinking, you're going to come to a resolution and you got to figure it out because you got to make the truth your own. So what about this? Now we bring in alchemy. And we have the element nickel. It's not only the 28th element on the periodic table, and it's, you know, it follows 27, which is currency. But you see, the golden ratio is kind of the measurement of the sun in a lot of ways, the 1.61, which is embedded into nature now. This is not mankind. Mankind makes the numbers, but this is embedded into nature. And you'll see that the number 54 appears at the 57th decimal digit, 57 and 58, which is nickel. So nickel, from that buffalo nickel, is 57. 57 in the string of the golden ratio occupies digit 57 and 58 tied to the number 54. Why that number 54? Because, well, lo and behold, buffalo nickel equals 54. How about that? So the buffalo nickel is the sun, folks. And what is nickel? It's called devil's copper, which I have been showing over and over. If you haven't seen my Sun Devil decoded, please check it out. Because I've come to the conclusion that the sun, as beautiful and magnificent as it is, it's the devil, the sun devil. And the sun above our heads is the 666 beast. And then mankind, the expression of the sun, we are the 666 below. And that buffalo nickel's 54, tied to the 57, tied to nickel, tied to the golden ratio. And the sun's the golden aspect. How about the abbreviations of nickel? We know that the sun is nickel now, or at least it's directly linked to it. Well, how about the Ni? The abbreviation that they use, the Royal Society of Chemistry uses to abbreviate the word nickel. It's the Ni, and then going down into the English numerology to get what numbers are those letters. Well, N is 14, I is 9. And then we go to the description of the sun, and they say that the sun is 149 million kilometers to Earth, or away from Earth. You see how ridiculous this code is? And like I said, I mean, I don't know if 149 is accurate, but the numbers in the code are sure expressing that. And then when we look at the 149, what number is it? It's the 35th prime number, and then you go right back to sunglasses and buffalo nickel. So you can see, folks, the buffalo nickel is 35. The 149 is the 35th prime. Sunglasses is 35. All found from that abbreviation N and I. And you just go right back, and the buffalo is 35. Sunglasses is 35. The buffalo nickel. Why was it the nickel? Because the nickel is the sun. Nickel is called devil's copper. It's the sun devil. And then there's just more truth to it right there. I mean, that's why, you know, they say some people worship Lucifer. Well, it's the sun. That's why Lucifer's called the light bringer. A lot of people think Lucifer is Venus. I mean, it is because the sun goes around the ecliptic and it's going to touch Venus. So essentially, it's all the planets as well. But obviously, straight up, this is showing us that Lucifer is nickel, and nickel is tied to the buffalo and the sun. And then I think this is my last slide. Here's the song I played in the beginning of this. Is this song called Cheap Sunglasses. It's, lo and behold, it's the 57 and it's the weight of nickel. And somebody had brought out that ZZ Top equals 33, which it most certainly does. But look at what year this song came out. Cheap Sunglasses, 1979, and right above Cheap Sunglasses, the bio is that 79th element called gold, and we know that the sun is otherwise known as gold. So, but there's the 33, and just for fun, this is my last slide. The length of the song, 4 minutes and 48 seconds, and when you do the breakdown, how many total seconds is 4 minutes and 48 seconds? Well, it's 288 seconds, and where is 288 found in the string of pi? At the 33rd decimal digit, which is a direct match to the band that wrote the Cheap Sunglasses song. It's ZZ Top. So there you have it, folks. I don't... Like, these are layers that I show to people, and then I'm like, how are you to say that this reality is not coded in script? Like, there's no mocking going on with a buffalo nickel. And the people that made the medicine card deck, they're not trying to screw you over. They just made a card deck. That's it. And they made the card, like, I found the medicine card deck. You know how I found it? I found this deck because me and my friend Gabby went to Ojai, California to go meet this real Cherokee shaman an hour and a half north of Los Angeles. Real Cherokee shaman. And I sat down with him. We sat down with him, and this is how I learned how to do my totem pole. And he told me all about these cards, the heritage, the history. This guy he's a real Cherokee shaman. His name's Patrick McBride. He was born on the 96th day of the year, by the way. The synchronicities were insane. And I just look at the patterns now to bring me my truth. I don't need any confirmations from people. But that's how powerful these cards are. And again, you know, like the people that created this, the story behind it is beautiful. They didn't create this to mock you. They created it to help you. But as much as these will help you, once these get created, they're instantly embedded into the machinations of this matrix. That's it. That's my little sneak peek of this. I mean, that's just, you should see the other stuff I have, folks, that I'm going to be coming out with. Mind-blowing. Stuff you've never seen before. This will be completely groundbreaking material that I'll be coming out with. That I was downloaded and given. I'm going to share it with all of you. Yeah, Buffalo Soldier. I mean, but then we can start going, like someone had said, the buffalo is a controlled substance by the government. Yeah, but who cares? The governments are just being used, by the way. The governments are just being used. Those people aren't in control. Nope. I got enough support for that. And again, these are my truths, so you don't have to agree with me on that. But if you were to come to Puerto Morelos and I were to sit down with you, it would take me weeks to sit down with you and show you all my material. I guarantee you I'd make you a believer. I promise you. It will be absolutely undeniable. But you'd have to take the time to put into it. That's why I'm not into defense mode anymore. Don't care. And again, I go to Flat Earth. Like, I'm not nowhere near being authoritative voice on that topic. I leave it alone. It's not my forte. So for me, how I roll, I don't really put things out there unless I feel comfortable enough putting them out there. And I have to have interest in it. And that topic just hasn't interested me. That's it. Free agent in this life. The sun is a portal for the soul to go. The moon is a portal to come in. Absolutely. The sun and moon are the incarnation, reincarnation process. Check out my 33 decoded, 42 decoded, Prison Planet Part 3 decoded, Prison Planet Part 2 decoded. I covered all that material in those decodes. Prison Planet 1, 2, Prison Planet 2 and 3, 42 decoded, 33 decoded. I covered all these layers in and I showed with support, not just saying like, yeah, they're portals. Like, it's easy to say the sun and moon are portals. Show me how that works. In all those decodes, I go to great lengths to show you that. And you got to make the truth your own. Again, I'm not here to convince you, but I'm definitely not going to move away from what I believe just based on someone else's opinion. You'd have to throw me off the hill at this point to convince me otherwise. Like, a lot of people think there's a quantum computer running the world, and I'm like, okay, show me the computer. Well, no one can show me that's not going to happen. That's a great theory, but that's all it is. There's no support for that. None. Just an opinion. No one has any pictures of it. No one's ever been to it. No one's ever used it. Because they have a lot of these people watching Newsbusters and the BB. I've watched all that stuff. I know what they're alluding to. But my life is not being run by any kind of man or reptilian or anything. I don't belong to NBC News or ESPN or CBS or CNN, and I don't belong to any governments or states or secret societies. I am just me. And what I'm showing you, those are just people as well. But my life itself, showing you my tattoo being coded and all that stuff in my life, that's solidified proof for me to believe what I believe in. I don't need anything else. So I know that if I'm not being run by some quantum computer at the level of mankind sitting behind the controls, sure, there may be a quantum computer that runs this entire reality and we live in a simulation, which some people believe we live inside of a computer. I think that's really how it works more than anything else. Yes, but I don't think anybody's ever going to see this thing. I think it's beyond the scope of our consciousness. But to think someone's sitting behind a computer and they're throwing things out onto the world because they're just dumping it into this computer, my life is not part of that computer. But yet my life is scripted and coded. I don't know how else to describe it more. Chris Jordan from Waters Above Crypto says it's the Jesuits. I don't know if he says it directly like that. I think he'll probably tell you that they're an influencer and they're playing out their role. But guess what? The Jesuits guess what's happening with them? They're being used. There's no exception in this. Like, oh, well, they're not being used, but I am. Because I'm being used, and I'm not being used by any organization like that. I'm not being used by the Vatican. I'm not being used by the Jesuits. I don't belong to any of these organizations. Yet I'm still being used. I'm still living out my script. And why would I be the only one when there are plenty of other decoders sending me a million different emails telling me their life's scripted? Everybody's finding it now. So are we to believe that all these people are working for the Jesuits? No. The Jesuits are a group of organization that are just doing their job, but their lives are scripted just like mine is, just like yours is. That's the only conclusion that I can come to. And that's right, I am a free Logan. Thank you, Tam Tam, for the reminder. Lisa, how can we set up a Telegram group chat? I have a Discord, I just don't use it. Telegram, here's the thing. Like, if somebody wants to set up a Telegram, I would rather use, it doesn't matter. All the systems are being monitored anyway. So just pick whichever. I don't know. Some people have Telegram, like the Syncretism Society. They got them all. But I'm not in the business to monitor all these things. I got so much going on in my life. And I like to have my own free time. I was just talking to Danny tonight. And he's like, man, it's like my life's crazy now. It's like people don't even realize what that guy has to do to get out in front of the world the information that him and Santos are putting out. They can't even fathom it. They don't see what's going on, but they're so quick to judge that person. People got their priorities just anyway. But if somebody wants to create the Telegram group and they want to use me as the foundation or base, no problem. Just let me know. So Lisa, if you want to set that up, go for it, and then just let me know, and then we can start sharing it. So people want, but it's like, how much participation will I have in there? I don't know. I mean, I'm on all the syncretisms. I can't keep up. People say, why don't you have an Instagram account? I got a Facebook account. I got a YouTube account. It's like, how many accounts do you think I'm going to have? And that's when life sucks you in. And it's like, you never, like, so much static that sucks us in. We don't know if there are portals. It's theoretical. But the mathematics that I've done on there is my support to lean towards them being portals. But I can't prove it other than the support that I have shown through my decodes that I've been consistently coming out with. That's the only thing I can use is my methodology, the methodology that a lot of you have been using to dictate the narration of this reality and to figure out like 1 + 1 = 2. So yeah, please, folks, respect my email. And I mean, my email is decodeyourreality@gmail. I'm very transparent with that. But if one of you wants to set up a chat, like I have a Discord, but I don't use it because I have to turn that on. Like my phone has the Discord. I don't even turn it on. It's like you have notifications coming in from this email and that email and YouTube, and then this popping up, and then I have this subscription telling me this. It's like, man. So much static right now in the world. It's crazy. Christine, stay in the middle. Slightly alkaline, baby. Slightly love, but yeah, I'm neutrality. And what does neutrality mean? Just be an observer of this reality. Yeah, you're going to partake. You have to play the game. But when it comes to observing the people this is primarily geared towards the people that you don't like, or the people that you have a problem with, or the people that you think are trying to screw you over. Like that big thing that's going around in the world today. No one's a fan of that. I have been successful at turning it off. It's really not a part of my life. I know there's a lot of suppression going on right now. So I guess it's all going to depend on where you're at in the world. Here in Mexico, the only time I have to wear one of those face diapers is when I go in the grocery store. That's it, pretty much. I get to go to the gym, none of that stuff. I walk outside, none of that stuff. And is not as much suppression. But but you know what I don't do? I don't watch the tabloids. Because it's going to suck your freaking energy dry. You know what people say? Well, I need to know what's going on. It's not going to change your life. What's going to happen is already written in the script. And perhaps if we're creating our own fractals and you don't pay attention to it, it doesn't become part of your reality. I used to be one of those people who run around like I'm living in fear, like, oh, I'm going to leave. Just going to go somewhere where they can't find me, I'm going to run like Running Man. Now I'm just like, I'm in a place where I can be this person where it's my choice to turn it on or turn it off and just be an observer. So I suggest that to all of you. Try to be an observer in your reality as much as you can versus someone who jumps in and just starts paying attention to the static. Okay? All right. Neutral, but still have an opinion isn't pure neutral. Yeah, you're never going to be, you can't just be in the very dead center and not have an opinion. So you're talking about overall energy. You want to be slightly alkaline, slightly love. So you can have an opinion, absolutely. What I'm saying about being neutral is when you observe, like for instance, that big thing that's going on in the world stage, are you neutral to it or are you angry at it? Are you pissed off at it? See, that's giving your energy to Darth Vader. That's giving into the acidic side of your life. So if you can eliminate that and be in the middle and just if you cannot turn on the news without getting angry, you should not be observing the news. Bar none. If you turn on anything mainstream and you're emotionally attached to it, you should not be watching it. You haven't mastered that part yet. If you can turn it on and laugh at it, you've mastered it. If you can turn it on and realize it's just a big movie and there are just actors, because we're all actors, you've successfully a master of your domain. But if you start to get emotionally involved, or you get angry, upset, pissed off, then you succumb to that. And it's so challenging because it's very challenging to do that. So how do you not do it? Don't turn it on. Pretty simple. Don't entertain it. And some of you are like, well, I got to go to work. And so, okay, well, so you have to figure out how to go to work and be neutral and realize you're in a damn big movie. That's what you got to figure out. And practice. You may not be good at it at first. All right, so let's do 30 minutes. I'm just going to do 30 minutes. I'm going to actually set my timer on my phone because I'm starting to. And once my 30 minutes is up, I'm done. Let me just set the timer on my phone because if I don't, I'll just go for a couple more hours like I normally do. So 30 minutes. Start at 31. Okay. Let's do some card pulls. All right, I'm going to keep these lightning fast, quick. If you want a specific deck to get a card pulled from, specify the deck. I may not be able to get all of you. Please don't get offended for that. I can see maybe like 20 comments and they come so fast, I miss them. So please don't get angry, upset, or hey, he's ignoring me. I'm not ignoring anybody. Okay? I'm going to do this really quickly, and these cards that I'm going to pull for all of you will be cards that are going to be general. It's going to be up to you to go read about it, to keep this moving quickly onto a website called Teach Me Tarot. So any tarot card you get, you just go type that into a search engine, and then after the tarot card, for instance, if you get the 9 of Swords, you would type in 9 of Swords, Teach Me Tarot, and then hit your enter button, and the first result that comes up is going to probably be Teach Me Tarot, and then it'll take you right to that card, and you got to go read about it and do your search, and don't just pass it off. Like, this is serious stuff. Respect these cards, respect my time being the catalyst to pull these kinds of things, and respect the question that you have. If you have a direct, specific question, don't just say, should I move? The answer's already there. Yes, of course you should move. Redirect the question. And if you're just like, hey, I just want to get a card pulled, it's just going to be a general reading based upon your life. All right? Okay, so let's get Scott, because Scott, you've been really hammering on get a card pull. So I'm just kind of poking fun at you here. So let's get one for Scott. And you got the 7 of Pentacles, which is all about analyzing your life right now. This could be analyzing finances. It could be analyzing everything in your life, everything you have as far as your manifestations. You got to figure out what you need to get rid of, what you need to keep. Okay, that's for you, Scott. Go Teach Me Tarot, 7 of Pentacles. All right. Let's see. The D3, let's get, oh man, see, these are moving so fast. Okay, so let's get Jane. Jane, You got the Wheel of Fortune card. I'm pulling these right from the middle of the deck. Jane, the Wheel of Fortune, spin the wheel to determine your fate. Please go check. You should know what some of these cards mean, some of you anyway, but Jane, you got the Wheel of Fortune card, which is all about spinning the wheel to determine your fate. It's going to be linked to your 10th house of astrology. You may want to go look at your 10th house in astrology and see what's there, what's transiting right there, because it's really all about, making some decisions here. Meme, let's get you one. I think it's Meme. And Meme, you got the 25th card in the deck, the 3 of clubs, or 3 of wands. This right here is all about launching long-term plans, the 3 of wands. It comes after the card of choices and potentials, the 2 of wands. The 3 of wands is you've already made the decision to move forward in something. This is moving forward. So this is basically telling you if you've already made the decision, you've already made some kind of decision, don't sit there and second guess yourself. It's time to move forward. Okay. Mav2276. I'm just going to keep trying to go down the line. I have my comment section stopped here for a second. So let's get Mav2276. 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 You got the 4 of swords. And this card right here is tied to, typically when this card comes up, you should be meditating. If you're not meditating, start meditating every day. And how would you do that? 10 minutes a day, put a timer on your phone, put some music on, burn some incense, get all the senses involved. 4 swords is about a card of rest and reflection. Maybe you need to take it easy. Maybe you're coming down with something. Definitely be on top of your supplements. Maybe you need to do a detox. Maybe you need to put your life on pause right now. That's the 4 of swords. So 4 swords, Teach Me Tarot, if you want to get more information. Okay. Pamela Swan, let's get you a card. And then I'll get... So Pamela Swan, you got the Hangman, which is card 12 of the Major Arcana, obviously linked to your 12th house. If you're a fan of astrology, I don't know, but what's in your 12th house right now? Where's your Pisces located at? That's going to be a big indicator for you, perhaps. And of course, the 12, the Hangman, is all about surrendering. So maybe something's been knocking at your door and you haven't been paying any attention to it. The Hangman's telling you to surrender to that, whatever it is. And you got if it clicks right away, you know that's what it is. Don't try to overthink it. If you need more information on the Hangman and what it applies to in your life, the Hangman, Teach Me Tarot in your favorite search engine and you'll find it. Okay. Tam, let's get you a card. So Tam, you got the 9 of Wands, which is tied to the 9 of Clubs, card 22. This card right here is the card of the Wounded Warrior. I think you've gotten this before. I don't remember though. I'm just guessing. But it's the Wounded Warrior, of course. It's the heavy hitter of the mind. So your mind has been on overload, and perhaps you need to put it into a relax mode, because you've been through a lot of mental gymnastics. So maybe you just need to go on a couple days vacation. Okay, Yvette Shine Bright. Let's get you next. So Yvette. So Yvette Shine Bright, you got the 4 of Cups. And this is a very interesting card because it's usually a card of being very bored. So what's going on in your life? Do you have a lot of stagnation in your life? Are you bored? Kind of just can't make things move forward? Kind of like at a checkmate in your life? That's what this card means. It's like everything bores you. So it's time, when this card comes up, it's time to spice something up in your life. Maybe you're stuck in the ideas and you're not in the layer of execution. How do you start executing? Pick something that you love or you're going to really feel good about and execute on that. Maybe you want to do a vision board, Yvette. That may be something that you may want to do to get you out of that bored status. Okay. Let's get Rocker Chick. Let's get Rocker Chick. All right, so Rocker Chick. So Rocker Chick, you got the Eight of Pentacles. And this card right here is the 71st card in the deck, tied to Lucifer. It's one of Lucifer's cards in Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. The Pentacles are diamonds. This card is one of the most fortunate cards in the layer of manifestations, but you got to go work for it. So if you have something that you are moving towards, like if you're in the layer of execution right now, you're on track. Just continue to put in your hard work and it will pay off. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't share what you're doing to other people. Just go do what you got to do. But it will pay off for you, whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're not doing anything and you get that card, well, it's time to move into the layer of, as I mentioned earlier to the other person with the Four of Cups, you in order for your manifestations to pay off, you must start executing. All right. Eddie Machete, what's up, brother? Let's get you, Eddie Machete. Oh, Eddie Machete, you got the card of sadness and mourning and depression. I like when these cards come up because it gives you the opportunity to turn the other cheek, so to speak. So what kind of sadness, depression, mourning's going on? Did you lose a loved one? It doesn't necessarily always mean death, but it definitely indicates loss. What kind of loss is in your life? Is there any kind of loss in your life? And if that rings a bell for you, this is telling you to turn around and look at the other things that are behind you in your life. Don't focus on the death. Let it pass through you. Do your mourning, but get over it. Okay? And if you need more information on that to figure out what the hell that means, if I didn't give it to you, Five of Cups, Teach Me Tarot in your favorite search engine. Okay? Tony, Masad, did I say that right? So Tony Masad, let's get you a card. Tony Masad, and you got the Six of Swords, bro. This card right here is a card of moving, energy being moved. It's linked to the Six of Spades, which is card number 45, which is linked to the Pandora's box that we live in. But this is transitioning away. It's kind of like taking all your possessions and moving away. And sometimes it can mean problems, transversing that. But this is definitely a stimulation of some kind. Maybe you are moving. Maybe you're considering moving. That card right there, if you are considering moving, that card is telling you a definitive yes. Okay? Muriel. Let's get you a shuffle and a card. Muriel Anton. Okay. Muriel Anton. Oh, you got the Mighty King of Swords card, which is card number 64 in the tarot cards. It's card 52, the King of Spades, the immovable, immortal King of Spades, King of Swords. This card right here is the king that has decisions to make. It doesn't use any emotions. It's all pure logic with authority as well. And it's tied to the element tellurium. Perhaps if you've been seeing the number 127, 128, 129, it's going to be tied to this card because that is tellurium's weight measured in the laboratory. But the King of Swords is definitely a card that comes along when decisions have to be made without having any emotions attached to it. So if you are faced with anything like that at this point in your life, you definitely want to rely on the King and don't use any emotions. Go strictly on logic, weigh both sides. What would a king do? What would a judge do who's very fair and sound? That's kind of the energy that King of Spades or King of Swords is all about. Okay. Okay, now we have, where am I at? Oh man, did I lose my, okay, here we go. Okay, AR, let's get you a card. Hold on. Yeah, let's get you a card. I got none. Christy, I'll get you. I told you folks, I'm sorry if I miss you. There's so many comments here. I appreciate all of you. Much love to everybody. Okay, AR. Let's get you a card. AR. So you got the High Priestess AR, which is card number 2 in the Major Arcana. This is the Oracle in the Matrix, which knew everything, just didn't know when it was going to happen. Now, I'm not saying you know everything, but what I am saying is the High Priestess is the Oracle. It is kind of tied to Taurus and Venus, the bull, the Taurus fields. And the High Priestess is telling you to go within, to me. And I would suggest that you meditate. If you need more information, this is such a diverse card, it's very tough to read because I don't know, this is a general, but I would say if you need more information, AR, just go type in High Priestess, Teach Me Tarot, and you're going to read mounds of information. You're just looking for one thing. Like, how does this pertain to my life? Once you instinctively feel it and you see it, that's what you need to focus on. It's really that simple. I know that's very abstract to what I just said, but that's how it works. All right, Christy Decker. Let's get you a card. And then Chris. So Christy Decker. So you got the 74th card in the deck, the Page of Pentacles. And this, for you, it would be the Prince, because you're female dominant. But this is the the Princess of Pentacles. And this card right here is the Princess of Money. So this could be a new idea that you're coming into life with, but it may involve around finances or money, because the Pentacles represents typically diamonds or an emotional attachment towards some kind of physicality. But the Princess energy, Christy, is all about being pure. It's all about like the kid fresh out of college, doesn't know what it feels like to be screwed over, ripped off, cheated on. None of that stuff. So you have to have that kind of energy right now moving through this card. That's what this card's urging you to do, is to wash away what you think you know and just let go and just kind of wait for something to come into your life that's going to be of a princess kind of nature. Okay? And then Chris, what should you focus on? Chris Topher. Let's get Chris. Chris Topher, what should you focus on? Okay. Well, you got the Magician, card number 1 in the Major Arcana. So what should you be focusing on? Taking charge, taking initiative, lighting a fire under your ass, not sitting still. You have the power of the Magician behind you. Leadership, fire, trailblazer. Start using your Magician energy. What's in your first house? What's your rising sign? What's transiting these positions? That's what you got to find out. So magic, baby. Creating magic, Chris Topher. All right, Chad and Croce. Let's get you a card, Chad. Okay, well, you got my birth card. Kind of interesting. The 8 of Swords, which is the 58th card in the deck, tied to the Puppet Master, of course, because the Puppet Master is telling you it's running this reality, and you're trapped and limited. You're trapped and you're limited in the sense of being a human being, because we can't fly, so that is a limitation. But where are you being limited right now in your life? Where you feel like you're being suppressed? Where are you feeling like you're literally tied up and you got swords all around you, blindfold, there's nowhere to go? No, there's no hope. You may feel like there's no hope. There's no way to get out of that. This is telling you to change your way of thinking. You need to flip that script. There is hope. There is a way out. Something better is going to come. This is giving you limited thinking, Chad. Okay? Just take a second break here and change my music. Let's do this one right now. Okay, let's get some Dream State Logic back on. Okay. Yip. I don't even know. Some of you have some weird avatar names. No offense, but Yip. I think it is. Let's get a card for Yip here. All right. I just think it's kind of. I'm not laughing at you. I think it's just funny. Yip. It's kind of a kind of fun. So you get the Justice card. This belongs to the House of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about revolution, being philosophical, being the judge. Justice coming into your life. Are you involved in some kind of court process right now? Do you have one coming up? Or do you need to be a judge right now in your family? Do you need to bring justice to something in your life? Or justice will be served in your life? So if you need more information on the Justice card, it's all about magic and electrical energy. But if you need more information on that card right there, just go to Teach Me Tarot, the Justice card, and you'll be able to find more information on that. Okay, Abril G. Garcia. Abril G. Garcia. Let's get you a card. Let's pull from kind of the back here. I'm feeling kind of the back. There it is. So this right here is the Seven of Swords, tied to card 46 in the Cards of Illumination, tied to the Tree of Life. This card right here is kind of like deceptive. Now, it could be if you're authentic with yourself. Are you being deceptive? No one knows you. No one's taking notes. I'm just strictly being a messenger and a tour guide here for you. Are you being deceptive, or is somebody being deceptive to you? This is like mental strategy. Are you having to do some kind of mental strategy? But really, if we're being authentic, like, we know, hey, we're not all perfect. And sometimes we do things that are a little shady, right? Or sometimes we make mistakes. We all lie. It's all of us. Folks, we're inauthentic human beings. So I'm just saying that. I'm not insinuating, I'm not hammering down on you, but this card right here typically means deception. So, what's going on in your life that would involve that, right? Is there maybe somebody's trying to deceive you? If you need more information on that, you definitely want to go to Seven of Swords, Teach Me Tarot, and read about it. Okay. Let's get Inna Ash. I think I skipped over you. Let's get you a card, Inna Ash. And I got 11 more minutes to go. So Inna Ash. So Inna Ash, you got the Two of Cups, the Two of Hearts. And this card right here is a partnership. It's an agreement coming to union. So what's going on? Are you having to come to an agreement? Have you come to an agreement? This is definitely a positive outlook. Are you having to sign a contract? Are you considering doing that? That's just a card of union. The Two of Hearts. It's a fire card. And that card right there is card 38 in the tarot card, I think. Yeah, card 38. 38 is very powerful because it's Manchurian candidate. So it's like the agreement to be used, so to speak. Not saying that is what it means for you, but there's a deeper meaning to that card. Okay, so that was to Inna Ash, and now let's get I got Chad already, got Eddie, yep, I got Andrew Rasuti. Did I say that right? Sorry if I pronounced them wrong, folks. Andrew Rasuti. Let's get you a card. And you got the resistance card, the Five of Wands. Remember, the 5 is the busiest number. Okay? 5s are typically have so much energy drawn to them. This one right here is a card of mental. It's like sharks swimming in your mind. So this card right here is like resistance in your mind, conflicts. And of course, if that is what it means for you, if you have like a lot of sharks swimming around, like can't make a decision, a lot of conflict, a lot of pressure, figure it out. This card's telling you got to figure it out. Stop the conflict. Whatever it takes to cut that conflict out of your life, that's what you need to do. At all costs. Folks, our lives are supposed to be peaceful. Conflict comes. And then are you entertaining that conflict? If you need more information on that, just 5 of Wands, Teach Me Tarot, and you'll get more information on it. Andrew Rasuti, that was for you, brother. Okay, let's get Iceman. 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 So this is for Iceman with the lightning bolts. So Iceman, you got the 7 of Wands, which is tied to the 7 of Clubs. So we have the numbers 20. Maybe that stands out for you. This is a card of standing your ground. standing your ground. This is card number 29. So 29 comes to mind as well. But it is tied to standing your ground. What do you got to do to stand your ground right now? This is the mind. This is your coming to resolutions in your mind. A lot of the things, see, the mind is the precursor to the body. The body is the instrument of the mind. So the wands means the mind, your thoughts. Maybe you got to stand your ground in your thoughts. So that was your card for you, Iceman. If you need more information, 7 of Wands, Teach Me Tarot, and you're going to get what you need. Brock McDonald, let's get you a card. I don't know if you even asked me for one, but I see you had a comment there. I don't know if you meant you're just waiting. So let's get you a card, Brock McDonald. Oh, this one looks like it wants to come out. So Brock McDonald, you got the 5 of Swords, which this card right here is tied to the birthday, the founding date of the Bavarian Illuminati. 5 of Swords. And this is a 5 again, and 5s are very challenging numbers. So this is like this card is like playing the game at all costs, doing whatever it takes. And then people walking away and say, forget you, I don't want to play. And you're going to collect the swords. 5 of Swords, Teach Me Tarot for Brock. Just go type that in your favorite search engine and see what that means for you. Read all the information that's there for you. If you guys are serious and you respect the cards, I'm going to encourage you to do that. I'm not going to force it on you. Oh, shit. See, I moved forward and then... Well, a lot of comments. Thanks everybody for your comment. I know I'm not going to be able to get to all of you, unfortunately. Okay, everybody be nice. Oh my God, I'm so far behind. Oh, all right. I'm gonna just let me see. Holly 74. I think I'm back there. I know I'm not gonna get to everybody. I got 6 minutes left. I've been 30 minutes, folks. Let's get you, Holly 74. Holly 74. So you get the Queen of Pentacles. This is card number 77 or 78, depending on how you observe the Fool. But this card right here is the Queen of Diamonds, tied to the card number 38. This is the card of the Manchurian Candidate. But in the sense of this right here, the Queen of Pentacles is kind of that royal energy of and this is water, because I know that in the tarot that the Pentacles represents, physical securities and all stuff. But in the cards of illumination, it's a water suit. So it's securities that are paramount for you going within. And how would the Queen treat that kind of energy? If you need more energy, there's so much information on this card and you got to find it. And because of time permits, Queen of Pentacles, Teach Me Tarot, just go do a search for that and you're going to find it. Okay. For Holly 74, Queen of Pentacles. Very, very powerful card though. Whew. Praise God. Funny avatar. I like that. What's your name? Praise God. What? What's your name? Praise God. I'm just having fun with all of you. Don't take any offense. That's just me being my dry humor. Okay. So praise God. Let's get a card for you. Let's see what you got. Wow, another 8 of Pentacles. It's card 71. 71 is the 20th prime number, tied to Lucifer and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. This is the 8 of Pentacles. Pentacles are diamonds. This is a card hard at work. The 8 is infinity. You can have whatever you want if you're willing to go work for it. So what is it you got to go work for? Go do it. A lot of you are great at ideas, horrible at executing. That's why your life doesn't work like you want it to be. You got to start executing. They say the greatest place for all the inventions in the world is the graveyard. because they never come to fruition. So praise God. I hope that helps you out. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Diamonds card. So the numbers that you'd be on the lookout for, 34 and 71. Do those numbers ring a bell? Of course, 7 and 9. I already got Chad. Silvana, let's get you a card. Chad and Croce, I already got you. I believe I did. I already got Chad. So let's get Silvana. Folks, if you respect the cards, okay, so I just, as a card reader, if you're a fan of the tarot, like when you get your result, don't just dismiss it like, oh, okay, that's cool. Please take this stuff serious. Like I'm being super serious with you. I am being a catalyst to tell you, the tour guide, what is going on in your life, or something that is about to happen, or has happened, or is happening. Take this stuff really serious. Respect this stuff. Otherwise, don't ask a question of wanting the card. This is not like playing a game of checkers. This is not like throwing darts at balloons to win a prize. This is serious business. I respect these things. These are real archetypes. I know how they work. And I'm not saying that towards anybody. I'm just generalizing what I'm saying. Please respect what I'm telling you. If I didn't give you the answer you're looking for, don't just like, oh, okay, that was fun. Go research it. I'm telling you, it will give you some enlightenment. Okay? All right, Silvana, let's get you. So, Silvana, 39th card in the deck, tied to the sun, celebration. Revelation equals 39. This is the 39th card in the deck. And I think the funny humor in this is Revelation being the last testament is just, it's celebration because you're going to get recycled back in. But anyway, that's just for fun. But this is a card of celebration. So if you're not, maybe you need to go celebrate. A lot of you have won. A lot of you have winnings in your life, but you don't celebrate them. And I know from experience. So this is a card of celebration. 3 of Cups. Maybe you need to go celebrate, Silvana. Okay? Daniel Ives. I thought I already got Daniel Ives, but all the Bitcoin holders want a card, please. I wouldn't just have Bitcoin. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know what that, I don't know if you're asking me to pull a card for all the Bitcoin holders. I'm not sure, but let's pull a card for all the Bitcoin holders. I don't know if that's you, Daniel, if you're just, that's your sarcasm. I don't understand that, but let's pull a card for that. Here we go. All the Bitcoin holders. Let's see what that has to say. Oh, it's interesting. The Page of Pentacles, card 74, tied to the wolf, tungsten, the wolfram. Of course, Jordan's society is the wolf. Very fitting. Because the 74 is Wolfram and Jordan's group is the Wolves. So there it is. There's the card for the Bitcoin group. It's the Page of Pentacles. And it's kind of like, you know, the beginning of new prosperous things. How very fitting. See, my timer's up. All right, I'll go for a couple more minutes, but that's it. I mean, that was a fast 30 minutes. Well, let me just get a few more, and then I'm going to call it a night, folks. Andrew, action potential. Paul, let's get you a card. And it's just hard. I mean, you got 200, I don't know how many people are in here. There's not a lot of people in here. There's only 130. Well, my numbers went kind of down. But still 130 people watching at the same time. It's hard to get everybody, but let's see what we got. And then, you know, if you're not getting your card pull, like, why am I even here? But let's get action potential. Okay, action potential. And I'll do a few more. Action potential, you got the 6 of Pentacles, card number 69. And in the cards of illumination, it's the 6 of Diamonds, which is card number 32. And this card right here, it's all about giving to charity. When this comes up in a reading, are you giving enough out there? A lot of people are not good givers, they're great receivers, and then vice versa. So this is a card right here, like, go give more. That's like when you're off, when life's off, Typically, if you just like go out, well, I'm going to go give to charity, you'll get something. But don't give, like it's just like you got to, that's that push-pull energy. You know? Okay. So let's do a few more and then I'm going to call it a night. Leonis, let's get you a card. Let me do one shuffle. Brock, I already got you. So Leonis, let's get a card for you. So Leonis, you got the Eight of Cups. This card right here is really interesting. I mean, this is going on a spiritual journey. It's kind of like if you're having the intuition or the urge to walk away from something, this is confirmation for that. This is the card of walking away. This is the card of walking away. This right here is card number 44. Currency. This literally is the card of Prometheus stealing the fire and giving it to humans. This is literally the transition from spirit into matter right there. This is literally the card of the architect or architects saying, hey, you know what? I want to go become an avatar down there on Earth because that looks like a lot of fun. And then it just incarnates through the flash of creation. This is the card that transports you there. The Eight of Cups, going on that spiritual journey. So for you, what does that mean for you? Well, I love that card. Card of Prometheus. All right, one more card. So Leonis, I hope that helps. If you're on the fence about going on a trip or if that's your confirmation, freaking go, baby. Go. Scott, you're welcome, I hope. I'm going to get one more. Here we go. So GW, Isaiah, can't pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. Ellen Gickel. That's an interesting last name. I love it. I love interesting names. Isaiah, my last one, GW. I'm sorry I couldn't get everybody tonight, man. It's just so hard. But Isaiah, let's get you a card. Last one of the night. Let's see what it has to say. Tarot has to say for Isaiah, for GW. Got the XRP symbol. Guess you're a fan of crypto. That's the symbol of tin, by the way, the merger of worlds. Isaiah. Well, so this card came out upside down. Okay, I don't really read reverse cards. So, but I'm going, because it came upside down, I'm going to read it both ways. So either you're very worried and stressed about stuff in life, because that's what this card represents, the game of life. It's as if like the architect, it's like God's like, I want to go play the game. And then you're given the instruction manual on what's going to happen when you get down there. And like, oh shit, I got to do all that. I got to go through pain and suffering. And yeah, this is like the card of worry and fear and stress. And this is the game of life card, 59. So this card, I mean, are you having nightmares? Typically that's what a tarot card reader is going to tell you. You're having nightmares, but you're having nightmares. But you got it reversed, so maybe that's going to end. If you're having hard times, but this is an initiation from one to the. This is spirit meets matter. It's funny, we pulled the Eight of Cups, making that decision to go on that spiritual journey, and then having to make that journey, and you're like, oh damn, what did I get myself into? So for you, Isaiah, it's if you either came in reverse or you're about to ready to leave that, or you're in it right now and you got to get out of that. And the only way to get out of that is to let go. And if you need more information on that card, 9 of Swords, Teach Me Tarot, and you will get it. Okay? Woo! That was fun. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining in tonight. Let's end this like we started it. And we're going to go with Phil X and the Drills with cheap sunglasses. And why cheap sunglasses? You know, why is it about the sunglasses? Because it's about the sun. Just remember that. It's about the sun and the moon and the stars and the zodiac signs and these tarot cards and the cards of illumination. and I pulled the currency card up, folks. Get yourself a pair of sunglasses. I wouldn't get in a pair of cheap sunglasses. I'm more into keeping my sunglasses for a long time because I put the intention out there. I'd rather buy a expensive pair that lasts me 10 years than buy a cheap one and saying I'm going to leave them on the bus. So why buy an expensive pair? Kind of setting up your life that way. So, but anyway, thank you each and every one of you for joining in tonight on this What's Your Question number 30, tied to the Jack Clubs, Jack Diamonds card. And today is about today and go moving into Sunday. If you're already in Sunday, it's about taking massive action. It's time to execute. Get out of your ideas and move into execution. If you've been sitting on the fence of making a decision, make the decision. This is your tour guide confirmation today. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Don't die and have all these great things you wanted to do go with you in the graveyard and you never got to do them. We don't know what's beyond this. So all we can do is do our best here in the very now moment. But I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. I seriously mean that. Much love from my energy to you. And, again, big shout outs to all of you great decoders out there. Nigel, Harry, Devil's Playground, go subscribe to them. Please go subscribe to Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. Learn how to trade crypto using his methodology. Go subscribe to the Syncretism Society. You don't have to become a member per se, but just at least go watch their podcasts and, get the great knowledge from Santos Bonacci and Danny and all the greats over there. If you need relocation services, if you're thinking about moving, maybe coming here to Mexico, you send an email to syncretismsociety@gmail.com, syncretismsociety@gmail.com. Make sure you put in the heading relocation services. And then when you send your email, just let them know, hey, Logan mentioned that I can relocate. How do I do that? And they're going to send you some information on that. They have it all set up and ready to go. Yes, it does cost money. It's not free. Nothing really is free in this world. And we're not trying to screw anybody over. They're not trying to. They're trying to help people out. Okay, we're all in this together. If you found your tribe at this point, you got your tribe, right? It's all about making the truth your own. But, I appreciate each and every one of you for your support, your Patreons, all your great donations randomly. It's very much appreciated. Honestly, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Even if you don't like me and you come to my channel for the knowledge and you kind of one of those haters, much love to you anyway. It's all good. I just kind of transmute that energy anyway. But I guess I'll end it with, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. And I thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, folks, we'll see you later.